Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Great to be here with you on a Wednesday. Let's get our heads right. What a game, what a team, what a season so far. Still got a few games to go. A lot to talk about today here on Ben and Woods. Thanks so much for being here in the chat. All of you that have joined us on YouTube, it's great, man. It used to be what Twitter used to be, and it was hard. This is easier to keep up with than Twitter was, certainly. Our Twitter family and feed, we love you guys too. Sorry that we're not giving you enough attention. I'm doing my very best to, but it's just difficult. The chat on YouTube, you can just boom, boom, boom. It's real time. Yeah. I don't mean to do this, but I steal a lot of ideas, and I try to always give credit, like, oh, Cole in the chat says this, or Mike in the chat. But sometimes I see something pop up mid-conversation. I deliver the line, and I'm like, that was really, really good. You guys are, I'll be honest, you guys are more clever than we are. We do this every day, and sometimes you run out of ideas, but you guys really come through for us in the chat every single day. Now, some of you are huge, huge a-holes. I mean, some of the biggest a-holes I've ever seen. There's a guy named Albert that has been on me for, I'd say, like 4 years. And he still pops up. He will just pop up to go, shut up talking about your kids. And just snipe me. And I'm like, all right, Albert, like, hey, man, the ratings say different. So I wrote that. I go, hey, man, the ratings say different. We're doing really good. He wrote, the ratings are high because of Ben. I was like, all right, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give you that one, Albert. But, Albert, if you're listening, I love you, man. I love you. Thank you for listening. I know you listen every day. Let's have a beer together at the next Padres game. On me. We'll have a beer. We'll hash it out. And let's all be friends. Life's very short. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of this program. Good morning, Paulie.
Just remember, hurt people.
Hurt people. That's right, man. Hurt people, hurt people. Ben Higgins, your friendliest neighborhood sports anchor that there is.
Good morning. The reason for the ratings.
Yeah, it's Mr. Lord Ratings over here. Thank you, Ben. Yeah. Thanks for letting us ride on your coattails.
Let me direct this personal message right now to Albert, who obviously trusts me, believes me when I say something. Woods is a very important part of the show, Albert. We need him. We are fans of Woods. I am a fan of Woods. You should also be a fan of Woods. And Paul, too, if you've got room in your heart for all three
100%,
of us.
Yeah.
Please. And our guests as well on a Big League Wednesday. Looking forward to a good show today.
Now, see, David says in the chat, Albert's lucky. He picks the right enemies. I don't know what that means. Is that the right enemy because I will embrace him and love him? Or is
Possibly.
He like, Wood, he picked the right enemy. Woodsy's an idiot.
Eventually, Woods will go to war with you at some point.
No, I think these days, it's the...
You used to go to war.
Benny used to take up my whole Fridays, man. Like all of my Fridays and Saturdays warring with people. The Keanu Reeves meme saved my life. I'm not joking when I say that. Now, let's be honest. It probably didn't come from Keanu Reeves, but it's the quote, I'm at the point in my life where I'm just tired of arguing. If you tell me 2 + 2 is 5, I say, okay, have a good day. I'm really trying to embrace that as and it's working. It's working for me. I don't mind having discussion, right? Like just discussion, like, hey man, that wasn't a hit and run. That was the contact play. Or no, they didn't give Cease the hook too early last night. He'd lost 40 pounds on the mound. Like, I don't mind having those discussions.
Discussions are fun.
But when it comes to...
You have to be having a discussion with someone who will at least listen to, acknowledge your points. Now, they may have different points, but if all you say and all they say is, no, you're wrong, it's not a discussion. You're just shouting at a wall.
Yeah, 100%, man. So I'm trying to be more compassionate and understanding and of what everybody's going through, because I'm going through it. We all are going through it. Everybody is fighting some sort of battle out there, and this is a place where I get to come and I get to vomit, for 4 hours. I can unload everything that's on my mind, and whether it has to do with my kids or my family or whatever it is, I'm so thankful for that platform to be able to do that. Not everybody has that. So they come in and they use our platform to come at me or you or Paulie or whatever, and it's never a fun part of the gig, but it's, I'm learning to deal with it better. Even 49 years old, man, trying to learn how to do it a little bit better than I've done it before. As my wife and I will say, progress not perfection. Nobody's perfect, right? So, Albert, if you're listening, I know you are. Have a good day, bud.
We had a very interesting conversation right before the show started. It was a Big League Wednesday. John from down the hall came in, and he pointed out, hey, our graphic is based on the old Big League Chew packet that Paulie makes. He's such a great
He knocked it out of the park.
designer for all of
One of my
our social
favorite
media posts.
graphics
It
you've
really
ever
is.
done.
It's very fun. And he said, yeah, do they still do Big League Chew, right? Yeah, you can still get Big League Chew.
It's like just as big as it's ever been.
And then he
Maybe
said-
bigger.
And then he said, do they still sell candy cigarettes as well?
They do.
I mean, we're in the year 2024. Obviously, you don't want to encourage kids to use tobacco products.
Well, you said at the break, you said cigarettes are cool.
I didn't say that.
I thought you did.
I did not
Paulie,
say
did
that.
I hear that wrong? All these
I heard something along
cigarettes
those lines.
Cigarettes make you
Like
look
it's,
cool.
It's cool to smoke.
It's cool to smoke. Right. All right.
Well,
Maybe I must have misheard.
Cool characters in the movies do
know.
smoke cigarettes.
Tell you. All right, go ahead, and I'll tell you exactly why I picked up a cigarette for the first time.
But obviously, Big League Chew. Paulie was saying you had a friend who just stuffed the whole pack in his mouth right before the start of the game. I still can't.
I can
in
picture it.
high school, he would go to the grocery store, gas station, whatever, and he would get a whole pack of Big League Chew before every baseball game. And about 10 minutes before first pitch, he'd be on the bench working an entire bag of Big League Chew.
That's a big bag of gum.
It takes
dense. Probably like 20 minutes before you can really kind of chew it down where it's just one big piece of bubble gum or whatever. Those first 20 minutes, though, he looks like a chipmunk.
Right.
His cheeks are so full, and he's just like drooling.
The drool.
He's just like, hey, let's go!
Let's kick some ass today. I mean, there's just no way.
Like, you're insane.
Bro,
you're a crazy person.
The drool laid me out because you can totally see him like wiping it up from his face. It's all sticky.
like
I'll
a
bring
normal-
a Big League Chew for
Like a normal
Ben
stick
tomorrow.
of gum. How many normal sticks of gum are in one pack of Big League Chew?
That would be
the
like
equivalent.
a stick of
Wrigley's,
Wrigley's.
yeah.
I'm gonna say 40 sticks.
I would think
40
so.
sticks of Wrigley's, unwrapping, and then wiping your chin, and it's all sticky on your hands for the rest of the day. No, when I was a kid, yeah, man. I mean, obviously they marketed cigarettes to kids. We were little. Hey, look at this cool camel with a penis in its face. Joe Camel. There's a penis on his head. You know that? We've done this before, I think. But it was like, hey, and everyone wanted to see the penis in the Joe Cool Camel ads. They marketed to kids. They had Marlboro Miles when I was a kid. We were all 14 walking around wearing Marlboro shirts because we collected the miles from the empty cigarette pack. You mail them in. There's a catalog. You can get a Rambo knife with a Marlboro. I mean, it was a different world back then, clearly. But I remember putting the movie Footloose on. And I watched Kevin Bacon. And the whole world is crashing down upon him. And he gets in his VW Bug. And he drives to the grain facility, gets out of his car, has a beer. I don't know where he got a beer. He's like 16 years old. Gets out of his car, slams the door, takes a drag of the cigarette, pull off the beer, then blows the smoke out. I go, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I wanted to learn how to do that ASAP when I saw that movie. So yeah, man, and when we were kids, everybody smoked. Everybody. Like, did your parents smoke at all?
My dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Long ago when I was
time ago.
very young,
Yeah.
there was definitely some of that going on. But that was like the 1970s.
Bro, and it was, there it is, the penis. Joe Cool on our YouTube feed. Look at the penis on his face.
It's just a normal camel face.
It's not. It's a giant.
That is a ripped camel.
It's a ripped camel with a huge penis on his face. You see the thing, and then Paulie's circling it with the cursor. You see that? This was all done intentionally. But so back in those days, Benny, I mean, I would get on planes and there'd be guys just sit in the smoking section.
Like, that's crazy to think about now.
In smoking sections of restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, we guys all we have is smoking available. All right, we'll take it. You guys were
Yeah, I remember that.
blasting heaters in the restaurant. It was nuts.
Like, can you
man.
imagine getting on an airplane this morning and the guy next to you just smoking a cigarette?
I cannot
No,
fathom it.
you're in the non-smoking aisle, so he's actually
One
one aisle
ahead of you.
that he's smoking
blowing
a
it right
cigarette.
back into you.
Yeah, mucho stress, as Rafa says. Exactly. So, yeah, John was talking about this morning, and yeah, they still sell them. I bought, terrible, but I bought Bo a pack at there's one in Coronado. It's
Camels?
the little, no, not real
Candy
Camels.
cigarettes.
Candy cigarettes. And yeah, they were like gum. They were gum cigarettes. So I just want to show him like something from my youth. He's a worrywart, so I don't think he's going to start smoking cigs anytime soon. But if he does, it wouldn't surprise me because that's what they market to.
Orthodox Evan said he had a Marlboro sleeping bag growing up.
like,
Dominic remembers the Flintstones cigarette commercials back in the 1960s.
that's incredible. You're 12 years old and you're sleeping in a Marlboro bag. Like, it's just incredible to think about these days. Like, here's my bag brought to you by Xanax. Like it's selling.
I mean, you go to Jack Murphy Stadium, and they'd have the big billboards in the outfield that would say Winston or Marlboro. I mean, those ads were everywhere when we were growing up.
Yeah, Benjamin says you needed a cool Zippo. Zippos were the thing.
Those are the metal lighters,
The
right?
metal,
Yeah.
you pop them and you can snap them on. I knew all kinds of tricks with the Zippo, man, and everyone I know did because everybody smoked back then. Every single person I knew. There was a smoking section at our high school. The burners, and we called them the burners. But they would stand out, and they all had like jean jackets with Metallica patches on it, and they would just blast cigs before school, lunch break. So yeah, it was a different world back then. I kind of like, where we are now, understanding a little bit more about health and the dangers of such things. But yeah, that was John. John, why did he bring that up? Oh, because of the Big League Chew.
Big League Chew, yeah.
Yeah, and listen, Big League Chew, they knew what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. But I'd rather have my kids sucking down Big League Chew than Copenhagen or Redman or anything like that, certainly. So that's the most addictive thing I've ever done is Copenhagen Long Cut. It's not even close. It's not even close. I've done a lot of stuff. There's nothing like that. Nothing like that at all.
Don't start, kids.
Yeah,
That's
do
the,
not start. That's the one.
That's
Just
the recommendation.
Stay away.
Then you never have to really
From all
worry
that.
about the addiction aspect of it.
This is a good point I see in the chat, too. Everybody vapes now. Every person, all you see when if you go out or whatever, like everyone's vaping. I don't know that it's that much better for you. But, just mind yourself. Watch what you're putting in your body. I'm telling you, because it catches up with you fast when you get a little bit older. Right?
Well, this after-school special has been very entertaining and informative.
I learned it from watching you. Can't wait to get that one.
But we've got a show to get to, including plenty of Padres talk. Again, not the prettiest game in the world, but you got to win those games as well. And the Padres found a way last night. We will talk about it coming up. We'll set the menu for a Big League Wednesday. What's coming up on the program today? Here until 10 o'clock. Glad to have all the Tier 1s with us on the radio, on the YouTube stream, on the app, wherever you're listening to us. Thank you for joining us. It's Ben and Woods and Paul on San Diego's #1 sports station. And we got Kelly, too. She's got traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Well, I think we definitively learned yesterday that the corn sweat phenomenon is a real thing.
Yeah, man.
That was brutal looking. I mean, brutal.
You could feel it through the television when you put the game on, and they panned to Cardinal fans in the stands with fans just fanning themselves. And then you see our players, you
stagnant, heavy,
just heat, hot humidity,
wet. You know that, I mean, you've traveled enough where you walk out of a building and it just hits you like in the face.
Yeah, you're done.
When you walk outside.
Like, did I just walk into an oven?
Yeah, sauna. Sauna is actually better. In Arizona, you walk outside. I used to do these meetings in Arizona, boys. I'd have 6 meetings in a day in a suit and tie. And you, from the Hampton Inn lobby to your car, you're like, oh, God. You get in your car, you go to a meeting, you sit in traffic, and then you go in to do a meeting for an hour, you come back out. By the end of the day, you look like you slept in your suit. I mean, everything's wrinkled and nasty. But that was the dry heat. You go out in Florida, not only does it drains you. Like, if it's hot, you can play golf in Arizona. You're like, ooh, it's toasty, but it's just kind of searing me. That humidity drains you. You could see everyone out there just scuffling. Like, you don't want to dive for a ball to your left. You're like, that's a knock. Try to roll a double play the next ball, because Dylan Cease was laborious.
Obviously, there are techniques. Players will put like icy towels under their hats.
Yeah.
Hydration is important, but there's only so much you can do. It's going to sap you. And last night's game looked like one of those just survival games for both teams.
Yeah, man.
And we will talk about it. We get our Padres wrap-up coming up in our next segment with all the highlights. But it easily could have been a blowout loss for the Padres last night. Very easily. Cardinals had opportunities, plenty of base runners early. They could have just, made that a game where everyone was willing to get to the finish line. And this San Diego Padres team just doesn't do that. They don't play that way. And that's been a characteristic, a hallmark of the 2024 San Diego Padres. They don't really punt on games. I know as fans sometimes you throw the punt meme out there occasionally, but
only a couple times,
not
man.
that often. And even when you do, sometimes they come back and still get themselves back into games.
So the last game we lost, I think we were down 5.
The Mets won,
yeah,
which, got kind of ugly.
And listen, the punting meme, which I threw out last year, I don't know, 75, 80 times. This year is like, that was reverse psychology. I was just trying a reverse psychology bit in the first inning. This team, I just don't sweat it when they get down early. I just don't, man. They're so resilient. They find a way to get it done. It's so fun to see. It's such a fun brand of baseball to watch. Is it nerve-wracking? Yeah, it's nerve-wracking a little bit, but it's really, really good to see these guys all kind of step up when we need them. And, that kind of stuff, it's sharp, iron sharpens iron, man. They've got the ability, knowing that they have the ability to do that speaks volumes about them and their experience. And when they get to some really tense games in October, Benny.
And I do think there is a big reason for it, and we can talk about it in our Padres wrap-up segment. I've been hesitant to go there all season long, but there's clearly a big difference between last year's team and this year's team, and we will talk about it this morning. 7 o'clock hour, we got our usual
this
features.
Is Jackson Merrill.
You might think that's certainly part of it.
Bryce
but
Johnson.
It's actually something else.
Mason
McCoy.
Mason McCoy, the real McCoy.
Got our Take on Woods segment, chance to win a trip to Las Vegas. Tickets to Carrie Underwood don't do this as well at 7:20. And it is a Big League Wednesday, as we mentioned. Adam Jones, the 5-time All-Star, still in this country, or has he gone back to Europe? We have no idea. Where in the world is Adam Jones? We'll find out at 7:35 when he joins us. In our 8 o'clock hour, make sure you tune in around 8:20 as we pay off our Incorporator from yesterday with Jesse Agler. Huitlacoche.
It's amazing.
And he nailed it last night for sure.
I was nervous about it, but
we will.
You were right again.
Jesse always nails it.
Lord Ratings over here. Hey, when it comes to getting ratings, we know who's responsible.
Big League Wednesday continues at 8:35. Another conversation with Bret Boone. One of my favorite talks of the week.
What?
Bret Boone?
Oh.
Bret Boone.
Bret Boone. That? Bret Boom.
Boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Always enjoy He goes on. I mean, he's a talker.
Ask him one question.
Yeah.
It's the best.
He's
I
a
love
talker. He just goes and goes, and I always enjoy talking to Booney.
I texted him yesterday. Hey, typical every Tuesday. You good for 8:35? He called me. We're on the phone for 15 minutes
He's the
yesterday.
best, dude.
So what's going on with so-and-so? What's up with this guy?
I love it. I love
How's
it.
this guy been doing?
It's such an honor to have him
best.
on, and he's just so good at this now. I mean, he has just gotten so good at doing radio hits, man. He and hosting a podcast and everything else. He is just really talented.
Reindl Report in our 9 o'clock hour, and don't forget you are also listening for our sounder to win tickets to Kansas at Humphreys. Kansas, which is right across the border from St. Louis, Missouri, right? Oh, no,
Yes.
St. Louis is on the other side.
No,
They're close.
You tell me, man.
Kansas City is in Missouri as well, so Padres are near Kansas.
Which makes sense.
They're not in Kansas. I bet it's very hot and humid in Kansas also, because there's a lot of corn in Kansas
Lots.
as well that is sweating right now. So you'll have a chance if you hear our sounder. You call in and a chance to win tickets to Humphreys to see Kansas.
This is not
it.
This
Do
is
not
just
call. A reminder of what it sounds like.
But after this,
This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be truth and you were gone.
next time you hear that, maybe in a commercial break, maybe during the segment, then you can call in.
If you're listening this morning, maybe you're in St. Louis, Missouri, as people call it, and I have no idea why, you can get tickets to today's game for the low price of $3. Just FYI.
I think it was up from $2 last night, actually.
Well, that's section 197. Row 10, seats 6 and 7, 2 tickets together, $3 a piece. You can take your son today and sit in section 197 and watch a ball game, Ben, for $6. $6. Probably a $87 service fee, but $6 is the
large espresso drink or 2 people at a ball game.
Right.
Today in St. Louis.
Now, you're a little more thrifty than the rest of us. So if you and Jack wanted to go to the game today, you lived in St. Louis. Section 339, $1 each. $1 each.
I've heard of dollar hot dog games.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I've heard of the dollar ticket games yet.
Crazy. That's how bad it's gotten in St. Louis right now. Let's all be very thankful that we are not there.
Our friend Katie Wu tweeted at the end of the game, "It's bleak. It's bleak right now for the Cardinals."
Do yourself a favor and read through the post-game thread from the Cardinals last night. I mean, of course, the Padre fans are posting their memes. It doesn't have the same. It used to just go nuts. It used to go for hours, but that's kind of dissipated. The Cardinal fans, they show up in draws.
Part of me feels some empathy. Part of me goes, welcome to the world that the rest of us have lived in.
Yeah.
Where your baseball team doesn't get to be good every single season.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Welcome to reality, Cardinals fans.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
All right, we will get to all of that coming up, starting with our Padres wrap-up. All the highlights from yesterday's game. Jesse, Tony, that is coming up next here with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Assuming you stayed through to the Jake Cronenworth post-game interview last night on the television broadcast.
No.
You did not.
He was great.
No, it's
Always great. Got to hear from Jake after his go-ahead RBI single. You'll hear that in just a moment. The highlight with Jesse Agler on our Padres Wrap-Up. But something that he said that stuck with me and something that seems different from last year. He said the coaching staff, the new coaching staff, came in spring training and just laid out like their vision, the buy-in they were looking for from this team. And they have never wavered on what they were looking for, their strategy, the kind of at-bats they want to see. And they have maintained that consistently throughout the season. And the Padres players have remained bought in through the season. And I think that, to me, is the biggest difference between last year and this year. And I'm not saying that Bob Melvin is a bad manager and Mike Shildt is a much better manager. But the one difference is Mike Shildt didn't flinch when things weren't going great earlier this season.
He really didn't.
Never once.
He never wavered.
And
he never showed any, lack of trust in his players, ever.
That's correct.
Even though it kind of annoyed us at times. You know, like it annoyed you. You're like, come on, bro.
And Bob actually, in very human fashion last year, as anyone I think would have, wavered a little bit when his team continued to play poorly and lose games.
And would get...
You saw him losing a little bit of faith as that season went on.
Remember how frustrated he used to get? And again, no one questioned him being frustrated either. Like the Bob Melvin kind of rocking back and forth going, well, no, of course I want to give Soto a day off. But how do you give Juan Soto a day off? And he just would, we didn't get the job done. We're not getting the job done. And Mike Shildt never once has said we're not getting the job done. Now, again...
and he sounded crazy sometimes.
He really did.
He really did. Bob never sounded crazy.
No.
Bob sounded
You might think I'm nuts.
Bob sounded very reasonable and like, oh, yeah, you feel the way we do about this. I totally sympathize with you, Bob. And Mike Shildt was like, are you watching the same team that we're watching? Well, how can you say this about your team? But he never flinched, not once, from the plan that they laid out in spring training. And
stubborn, man. I love it.
Man, is it paying some dividends here in the second half of the season. I can't really avoid. I can't alibi that. That's what's that to me is what is different about last year's team and this year's team. And it's not just Mike Shildt. It's his coaching staff. It's the players actually buying in and keeping faith, even in the face of evidence that might have showed them it's not working. Hey, it didn't look like it was working for the first half of the season. They couldn't escape the clutches of 500. 5-game losing streaks galore. This Shildt plan doesn't seem like it's really a great one, but they stuck with it, and right now it seems like it's paying off big time.
Yeah, I mean, I told the story yesterday. I think it was a different time of day, but when I ran into Hoffy said the exact same thing, Ben. The consistent message since spring training. What do we know about baseball players? God, they love consistency. They love consistency. They love a routine. Creatures of habit. Maybe the biggest creatures of habit that exist in professional sports. And when your message is consistent, the belief and the faith is consistent, man, these guys have responded. They really have responded. Don't know what it's going to mean. Don't know if it's going to mean you're hoisting a World Series trophy. I sure hope so. You sure have a really good shot. You have a really good shot. When's the last time you could sit in here and say with it honestly, well, we absolutely have a shot to win the World Series. I mean,
there's
it's
no
pretty
118 win juggernaut on the American League side. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of parity in baseball this year.
So he's been as consistent of a human being as I've seen, and I think he does deserve a ton of credit.
We will talk about yesterday's win and how the Padres fought back and continue to do what they do and have been doing, especially this second half of the season. Right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Got a couple of stalled vehicles in the North County, southbound side of the 15, just past Gopher Canyon. Looks like a pickup truck in the center divide, and stall partially blocking the Poinsettia off-ramp of North 5 Coastline. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah!
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Yeah!
Give me a do damage.
Do damage.
Cease's first pitch to him, way high, goes to the backstop. Here comes Wynn, and he'll score. Campusano had it, thought about flipping to Cease, but I think he saw with the speed of Wynn it wasn't worth it. And a wild pitch to give the Cardinals a 1-0 lead in the first. 1-1, sent in the air left field, very high, fairly deep. Should be enough to get the runner home. Profar backing up. He'll make the catch. Burleson tags. He'll score without a play. A wild pitch and a sac fly have given the Cardinals a 2-0 lead here in the first inning. Is coming, and Machado hammers it deep to left field. Burleson is back. This one gonna go. 1-0. Campusano hard hit on the ground through the right side and a base hit. Merrill will score. Peralta is going to go first to third. RBI single, Luis Campusano, and a tie game 2-2 here in the second. To McCoy, hit on the ground the other way to his left. Donovan has it. Only plays to first base. In time to get McCoy, but Peralta scores. And an RBI ground out for Mason McCoy. Padres have their first lead of the night. It's 3-2. The 1-0. Arise hits it hard on the ground through the left side and a base hit. Campusano rounding third. He's going to come in and score. RBI single, Luis Arise, and the Padre lead is now 4-2. Out the 2-2 to Newpark, grounded up the middle. Bogart's not going to be able to get there, and it bounces into center field, a base hit. RBI single, Lars Newpark in the bottom of the fifth inning, and the Padre lead is now 4-3. One out, 2-2 pitch, launched to left field. Profar going back. He is at the wall. He will watch, and it will go. A long two-run homer over the bullpen in left field for Paul Goldschmidt. His 20th of the year. And the Cardinals hop back on top. It's 5-4. 0-2. Profar swings, hits it in the air, center field deep. Scott is back, and right at the edge of the warning track, he makes the catch. McCoy will tag and score. Arise will tag and advance. And a sacrifice fly from Profar ties us up 5-5 in the seventh. And Jake swings, muscles it into right center field. That's down in a base hit. Scott gets to it and fires in, but Arise has scored. And what an AB for Jake Cronenworth as the Padres go back in front. It's 6-5. 2-2. Arenado grounds it sharply off the bag at third. Manny has it on the redirection. Long throw to first is in time, and the ball game is over.
Typical how we expect to compete. I mean, the guys really laid it out there again, you know. Tremendous amount of respect for the group, you know, just straight grit, you know, grit squad, you know, just fought the whole way. Yeah, and, you know, down 2-0 early, and, you know, good for Manny, boom, right away, answered back, and contributions from a lot of people.
Yeah, Manny at the beginning, Manny at the end, and just about everybody else in between.
Can you say Mike Schiltz Grit Squad 5
Mike
times?
Schiltz Grit Squad, Mike 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 Schiltz Grit Squad.
All right, that's pretty good.
Not bad. Better than I can do.
I was going to do Mike Grilt's S Squad is what I was saying in the shower this morning, and I couldn't get it out, so I'm not even going to try it live on the radio. But yeah, like you said,
Holy Schilt.
Yeah, holy Schilt. What a win last night, and that would be 22-8 since the Rally Roach made his disgusting appearance in here. 22-8. 22-8. This ball club is gone since that Rally Roach popped in here. So, pretty outstanding win last night.
So I think they said it was at 98 degrees at first pitch with the humidity making it feel like it was 106.
Yeah.
Good God.
In St. Louis yesterday. And you could tell just from the start, Dylan Cease was sopping wet before he even threw his first pitch of the game. And he didn't alibi it afterwards. He said, I didn't feel quite right with my command, but you have to figure that some of the conditions certainly weren't in his favor for a great Dylan Cease start. Fastball command was off.
He was dying. He was dying. A lot of people were saying, I don't know that he can get a good grip on the ball at all. I mean, just pouring sweat. Was bouncing his slider. Nothing, wasn't locating. I mean, look, he made some really big pitches in some really key spots yesterday, certainly, but he scuffled a little bit. I mean, still, though. I mean, look, he's got four runs on 7 hits. He still has a 2.92 ERA in his last 7 starts. All right. And the last 3 starts have been a little bit pedestrian by his standards, but he's allowed 9 runs he allowed 9 earned runs in 16 1/3 innings of work. He can do better than that. He knows that.
It's a product of having such high standards, though.
Right.
For
but
Dylan Cease.
I'd also, I'd like to get him a nice, normal start. That's not rain delayed or anything like that. Just a nice, good old 75 degrees and sunny Dylan Cease start and see what he can do. And again, he's off a tick. The velo, he pumped 97 by that 3 Baker to get out of a huge jam. He made some big pitches when he had to. Defense let him down a little bit, which tends to happen seemingly when he's on the mound. I don't know exactly why, but just one of those weird things. I still am very confident about Dylan Cease, and I'm still really confident about the guys in this bullpen. Brian Hoeing, he blinked, and it's actually weird to see when Brian Hoeing blinks and lets in runs.
He gave up a home run to Paul Goldschmidt.
Right.
I know Paul Goldschmidt's not having a great season, but he's still Paul Goldschmidt.
And he torches the Padres. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, fine. You tip your cap and you move on. But how much credit do we need to give to Yuki, Estrada, Jason Adam, Tanner Scott? Tanner Scott pitching on his 3rd day in a row as an impending free agent. And our buddy Chris Chadwick made the point on Twitter last night that how refreshing is that? He just wants to win for the current team that he's on, and he's not worried about what happens next year. We all know what I'm referring to. We all know what I'm inferring. It's the most selfless act that a pitcher can do. Bro, 3 nights in a row? All right. Well, I mean, Josh Hader would never do that. He said, I'm not doing it. And this cat just wants to win, and he wants to win a ring. And with attitude like that, you get 26 guys with that attitude, forget it. Forget it, man. Like you have so much confidence in a team like that.
As long as he stays healthy, it's going to serve him well in free agency at the end of this season.
100%.
But it's also serving the Padres well because Robert Suarez is near his career high in innings as well. And I was curious once Mike Schilt brought in Jason Adam in the 8th, knowing he had not pitched the day before. I said, okay, he's probably going to go with either Suarez or Scott for a 3rd straight day in the 9th inning. I wonder which one it's going to be. And, I'm sure he talked with both of them before the game, analyzed how they're feeling, and decided to go with Scott. I think it's the smart choice. Obviously, it worked out in the game.
Dog.
But he's ready to go out there, and that saves some bullets for Robert Suarez later for the season, for the playoffs, and the Padres still get the win anyway, and it was as ultimate of a team win.
Save some bullets for tonight if they need them.
Well, yeah, they probably will in this game, but ultimate team win because as you look, Padres scored 7 runs, one at a time. Every single run came in by itself. 6 different guys had an RBI, and the other one came in on the wild pitch at the end, the insurance run that Mason McCoy scored in the top of the 9th inning, and that's hard to do. Just one at a time coming in, whether it's an RBI single, a solo home run, a sacrifice fly. Jurickson Profar had one of those. They found all the different ways to score runs. A RBI ground out from McCoy. Every single kind of way you can score a run. Padres kind of scored a run in that game yesterday. They needed all the tricks in the bag to get to the 7 ultimately that they pretty much needed to win that game.
Including the sexiest double steal that you'll ever see, which led to the Jurickson Profar sacrifice fly. Really well-managed game last night. Yeah, I'm not going to say I wasn't biting my nails there. As you go through the progression of guys who have pitched already, knowing, oh, man, like, what are we going to do in the 9th? What are we going to do? And Tanner Scott said, I got it. Don't worry about it. And went out there and got the job done, Manny, with a phenomenal play to end that game.
Just wanted to bring that up.
Phenomenal.
Gets a little bit overlooked, I think, just because it was the end of the game.
Yeah.
But my God, the lack of effort needed for that
Right.
play.
Well, the guy, Arenado, comes off the bench, hits 2 foul ball home runs. Just seeing it well. Then he gets the rollover, but it's in no man's land. Manny makes that play, one hopper to Arise, just perfect hop. A play he's worked on. We've seen him working on it in
Camera
spring training.
zoomed in on him as he was running to high five all the guys, and he's laughing. He just goes, "Wow,
Wow." Yeah, I mean, it's just staggering play last night. He had the other one in the game where the guy was running. I think it was Mason Wynn running right in front of him. Actually hit the heel, bobbled it, popped it up in the air, picks it out of the air, gets the guy by 10 feet. I mean, those are the kind of plays. If you're a pitcher, you're like, bro, I'm confident in letting these guys put the ball in play. I don't have to strike everybody out. Even Mason McCoy has been playing great at short, been picking it. I'm really confident with him out there that he's going to make the right play and be in the right place every single time. And he's contributing offensively. I mean, I'm looking at this going, all right, like, is he a guy that could spell Ha-Seong Kim if he's not having a good day? Is he a guy that could spell Xander Bogaerts defensively late in games? So it was an awesome dub last night.
It was, as team of a win as we've seen from the Padres. And not only that, I want to talk about the at-bat from Jake Cronenworth as well.
Oh, my God.
And this may spill into the next segment at the top of the hour, but there's a lot going on in that at-bat. And the first is the decision of Mike Schilt to stick with Jake Cronenworth.
You got Solano there, right?
So, yeah, Solano was ready to pinch hit. But, and Mike Schilt talked about this after the game, he knew that they had Kittredge warm in the bullpen. Nasty right-hander. So if he goes to Solano there, they go to Kittredge, and it's righty-righty. So you got a choice of lefty-lefty, a guy who's already kind of been in and thrown a few batters, or righty-righty with a new fresh arm. And Schilt decides, I trust Jake. Let's see what he can do. I know he's, struggled against lefties this year. He's hitting under 200 against lefties, but says, I'm going to stick with Jake. I think he's going to give me a good at-bat. And then Jake proceeds to foul off a bunch of pitches.
9-pitch AB?
Yeah, stay alive, get to the 9th pitch of the at-bat. And then finally, not an easy pitch to hit, busted him a little bit inside, but lifts it into the, empty area in right center field to drive in a go-ahead run that, the second time you come back in the game from down, you were down 2 early, you were down 1 later. That was a huge at-bat for the Padres, huge confidence that Mike Schilt showed in Jake Cronenworth in that at-bat to get it done. And once again, the manager was rewarded for that faith and consistency that he has in his players.
Yeah, trust your guys sometimes, man. Really, really easy to put Solano in there. And Solano, nothing, he gives you a really good AB.
And he said, I would have been fine with that too. He gives you good
100%.
at-bats against righties and could have gone that way as well.
Just a lot of, it's just a great win. Just a great win.
And the Padres actually got some help last night. We can talk about that and play some Take on Woods coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan. So for every single day of my life, there has been one truth about the San Diego Padres. Nate Colbert has been the all-time home run leader with 163 home runs every day of my life because he hit his last home run for the Padres in 1974, the year before I was born. He was part of the original 1969 expansion San Diego Padres, played 6 seasons, became the all-time home run leader in his 6 seasons, and boy, he did it the hard way because he played at the old Jack Murphy Stadium before they brought the inner wall in.
What was that to poke it out of there back then?
It was insane. It
was
it was a high wall so deep. I mean, he probably lost dozens, if not, 50 or more home runs playing in that ballpark without the inner wall. But no one since then has been able to eclipse it. Adrian Gonzalez got to 161, too short of it during his time with the San Diego Padres. And by the way, every other team's all-time home run leader is substantially more. I think the Rays have the second lowest, and they're a much newer team with Evan Longoria with 261.
Yeah.
But no one.
Still 100 more?
Yeah, 100 more.
Wow.
No one has been able to stick around with the Padres and have enough power.
Hang on, that
to get past 163. Aaron Judge can do that in 3 seasons nowadays. But for the Padres, no, it's just been stuck at 163 for 50 years. My entire lifetime.
Is insane.
And that record is on the verge of falling, courtesy of one Manny Machado, who hit number 159 on Monday and 160 with the San Diego Padres yesterday.
This is Manny Machado.
3 away from tying and 4 away from passing Nate Colbert and becoming the new San Diego Padres all-time home run leader.
Feels right, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, feels absolutely right. That's awesome. That'll be a cool moment. Yeah.
He's also creeping up on his typical 30
Yeah.
that he hits every year, but I was told repeatedly throughout April, throughout May,
June, July.
pretty much most of June, that he's washed.
Yeah, he's
no chance at getting to 30 this year.
He always says that, hey, the numbers will be there, and everyone, no, they're not going to be there. They look.
It's almost like he was hurt and recovering from significant surgery
and had a baby. I mean, it's big life moments here. I'm very happy to see back-to-back nights with home runs and playing great defense, doing the things that Manny Machado does. He's still a lightning rod in this community, and I understand that. I guess there's just going to be people that don't like him unless he hits the walk-off home run in the World Series. That's fine. I mean, I totally get it. He's the best. I'm 49. I've never seen anybody like him. I've never seen anybody make plays the way he does. Does he boot balls? Yep, sure does. Booted one the other night. Big one. Does he strike out in key situations? Yep, absolutely.
Like every other player.
Every other player does. Like Bryce Harper does. Bryce Harper does, too. Bryce Harper boots balls. Bryce Harper doesn't run hard to first every time. Got choked out for it. I mean, let's go, man. The guy he's as bought in as anyone. First guy out of the dugout every single time. Listen, embrace this thing, man. This is a really, really fun ride that we're on right now. Embrace it. Let's have some fun with it.
And he's going to be here for a long time to come.
Yeah.
Hopefully blowing way past 163 and, 200s, 300s. Who knows how many he'll hit with the San Diego Padres before all is said and done. But I wanted to point that out. Hopefully, gets a couple more on this road trip and can do it at home next week. Would be very fun. Or just get that done on the road trip in the next few days.
Yeah, that'd be
even more fun.
I'm not picky at all about where we get it.
I need a contestant for Take on Woods before we get into some of the other results last night. If you want to call in and get online for our musical trivia challenge, 833-288-0973. Call now, 833-288-0973. Head-to-head versus Woods. Trip to Las Vegas, potentially in store if you can prove your worth in a game of Take on Woods in just about 5 minutes. So after the game was over, did the multiple screen thing, had the game cast for the Diamondbacks on, and then ESPN Plus had the Dodgers-Orioles game to see if someone could actually give the Padres a little bit of help in the playoff chase. And for once, it did happen. The New York Mets scored early, built an 8-0 lead, and then held on for an 8-3 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks, who I had to look this up, Woods. Their first loss in 9 days. It was a week ago Sunday was the last time the Arizona Diamondbacks actually lost a baseball game.
Feels right? I mean, they've been as hot as anybody.
So the Padres tie them for the National League wild card lead, and the Baltimore Orioles, in a very tense, nerve-wracking ninth inning, held on for a 3-2 win over the L.A. Dodgers at Dodger Stadium.
I missed it. I went dead asleep after.
So a lot of early runs, and then it was kind of the bullpen battle at the end, and it was a 3-2, bottom of the ninth inning, one man on, 2 outs, and then who was it? Drew a walk. Good at bat. Gavin Lux drew a long AB with a walk. So they get the winning run at first and the tying run at second base, and then Chris Taylor comes up.
Pinch hit, right?
Yeah, and then Shohei's on deck. So you don't want it to get to Shohei. Another long at-bat. Chris Taylor going up against Sir Anthony Dominguez. And finally, at the end of the at-bat, ropes one that looks like, oh, that's a double to the gap. Dodgers are going to win, but outfield was played well, caught it just in front of the warning track on the line drive.
Mama.
And the Orioles held on for the 3-2 win, which means the Padres and D-backs are now just 3 games behind the Dodgers in the National League West, and 3 games behind the Dodgers, who also still own the best record in all of Major League Baseball, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely bananas. It's as bananas as it could be that it's down to, this close at the end of the year with what, the Dodgers were projected to do. I mean, they're going to fall well short of projections, right? Which, hey, we know that feeling well here in San Diego. We fell well short of projections last year. So I don't sympathize.
I don't remember what their exact number was heading into the season, but now they are projected at 96 and 66.
I mean, it was over 100, obviously.
And the Padres, if they're now 18 games above 500, if they just play 500 baseball the rest of the way, that's 90 wins.
Yeah, crazy.
And that's just 14-14 the rest of the way of their final 28 games. If they could go 18-10, all of a sudden you're talking about 94 wins, and you're right close to where the Dodgers are projected to be at the end of the season. We'll see how that plays out, but the only times the Padres have ever won at least 92 games were twice. 1984, they won 92. 1998, they won 98.
Those ended up being pretty good runs, right?
Both years ended in a trip to the World Series. So you're only, 16-12 gets you to 92 wins and gets you to the second-best record in franchise history at this point.
I mean, the 500 path this team was on was so staggering. I mean, it really were. And they had, obviously with last year's record as well, we talked about it on a roundtable a couple months ago. It's crazy that this team has just been mired in 500 for, well over a year. And for them to go on this run now, what are they, 18 over 500 right now?
18.
It's insane. It's insane. How special is that?
So the Braves won in 10 innings over the Twins, used a 4-run 10th to beat Minnesota 8-6. So they're still 3 games back of the Padres and Diamondbacks and holding that third wild card spot. Obviously, the Mets beat the Diamondbacks, so they're also 3 back of the Braves, 6 backs of the Diamondbacks and Padres. Giants beat the Brewers. Giants just still a game above 500, not totally out of it. They need a winning streak, though, and go on a run here. And the Phillies shut out the Astros 5-0. So that battle for the top record in the National League, very tight between the Dodgers, Phillies, and Brewers right now, with a bunch of wildcard teams just kind of waiting in the wings. If anyone goes on a run in these last, 4 weeks of the season, that's still in play. Number 1 seed, number 2 seed, bye in the first round, but you got to win your division to get those.
How about the Royals, man, over in the AL? What a story they are.
They swept a doubleheader from the Guardians and then won again yesterday, and now tied for first place in the AL Central.
Guardians had a 9-game lead at one point in that division.
And the Mariners blew a 10-game lead to the Astros.
Yep.
So
that's crazy, man. Guys are fighting. This is a great time of year to be a baseball fan, unless you're a fan of one of those teams.
All right, I see we've got a couple of contestants on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to take on Woods. All right, we got Dan on the line. In fact, it says Dan the Man on my screen. Is this Dan the Man?
Well, I'm fine with just Dan. That's
okay,
fine.
That's fine. I mean, every Dan that I've ever known is Dan the Man. Dan, maybe the man. See if you're the man. Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. You're playing for the trip to Las Vegas. 2 nights at the Resorts World. Beautiful Resorts World. 2 tickets to carry Underwood Reflection at Resorts World Theater. Get your tickets now at AXS.com or RWLasVegas.com. You just need to beat or tie Woods in our 5-question musical trivia challenge. And to give you a little leg up, I will give you the category choices. We've got Sister Acts. Those are 5 bands or artists with sister in the name. We've got Asian Nation, all song titles featuring a single word ending in Asian, A-T-I-O-N. And we've got Paradise City, 5 song titles that all include the word paradise, but none of them are actually Paradise City. So, Dan, Sister Acts, Asian Nation, or Paradise City?
Oof, none of these sound promising for me this morning, so I'm going to try, I don't know, Paradise.
Paradise City. All right, the new category today. Again, 5 song titles, all include the word paradise, but none of them are actually Paradise City. You'll have 60 seconds to get as many as you can. First question is our 2-second song. Paulie is going to play some music. You need to give me the title of the song and the artist to score that point. If you don't know an answer, you can say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. Dan, are you ready to play?
Sure.
I'm not ready yet.
Paulie is not quite ready. Sometimes it takes just
I'm not ready either now.
No one's ready. No one's ready. Well, I'll just have a little sip of my iced coffee. Check my phone here. See if anyone sent me any messages. All right. Is everybody ready now?
Yes.
All right. Paulie's ready. Dan is ready. All right. 60 seconds on the clock. The category is Paradise City. Dan, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
And go. And
we've got a little lag here going.
And play.
Yes, there it is.
Gangster's Paradise. Julio.
Correct. Eddie Money, Waited So Long, in which a debut album hit became his signature song.
Pass.
Ellen Foley sings alongside Meatloaf on which single from the Bat Out of Hell album that reaches 8 minutes and 28 seconds on its full-length version?
Pass.
The love theme from Footloose is which duet sung by Mike Reno of Loverboy and Heart's Ann Wilson?
Pass.
Which 1994 Green Day song is about the band members moving out of their parents' house into an abandoned home in Oakland where they lived rent-free?
Take me to Paradise.
Incorrect. Go back to Eddie Money, Waited So Long, in which debut album hit became his signature song.
Paradise Light.
Incorrect. Ellen Foley sings alongside Meatloaf on which single from the Bat Out of Hell album? Oh, we got the one, but that's all, Dan.
Close on a couple of
You
them.
were. You got Gangster's Paradise by Coolio. So Eddie Money is 2 tickets to Paradise. Meatloaf is Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Almost Paradise is the love theme from Footloose. And Welcome to Paradise. Do you like that one, Green Day fan, Paulie? No? No, maybe not.
I'm not
I don't
a
know.
huge
I don't know
Green
if Woods
Day
will
fan.
get that one. I think he's got most of the other ones. We'll see. He doesn't get the category. Makes it a little tougher. All right. Dan's score is locked in. We had a qualifier yesterday, so it is possible. All right, 60 seconds back on the clock. Hopefully the music will actually play in a reasonable amount of time this time. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Dan.
Gangster's Paradise, Coolio?
Correct. Eddie Money, Waited So Long, in which debut album...
2 tickets to Paradise.
Correct. Ellen Foley sings alongside Meatloaf on which single from the Bat Out of Hell album that reaches 8 minutes and 28 seconds on its full-length version?
Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Correct. The love theme from Footloose is which duet sung by Mike Reno of Loverboy and Heart's Ann Wilson?
Almost Paradise.
All right, let's go for 5 for 5. Which 1994 Green Day song is about the band members moving out of their parents' house and into an abandoned home in Oakland where they lived rent-free?
Is it?
Definitely the toughest one here.
What's the name of that song? Dookie Taint. I don't know.
Probably has the word paradise in it.
Oh, I didn't know it was
category.
Paradise.
It's It's Welcome to Paradise.
Welcome to Paradise.
There you go.
How'd I do?
4-1, though. You are a winner
smoked 'em.
today in the category Paradise City.
Ooh.
Songs that include the word paradise, but none of them being Paradise City.
I love The Lover Boy.
You do?
Oh,
well, that is a good song.
It's my favorite movie. So
yeah,
it's
well,
the love
you were
theme.
talking about it
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Ironically, coincidentally.
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 Coincidentally. It's my favorite. I love that song. Give me some. I thought that dreams belonged to other men because each time I got close, they'd fall apart again. It's so syrupy and sappy. Listen to that. How 80s.
So 80s.
So 80s, man.
Someone's got a synthesizer.
Here we go. Oh, I love it. Each time I got close. Give me a little Ann Wilson here. Hang on. Or Nancy. Ann. Listen to this harmony. I face the nights. How could I know that all my life I only need? Oh. Almost paradise when I can own heaven's
I'm glad we've made Woodsy so happy
Kicks
this
ass,
morning
man.
with the
That
category
kick
today.
ass.
All right. Don't Do This is coming up next. I don't even know if this is a don't or a do this, but I've got to bring up what LeBron said yesterday on his whatever show he does, the Undisputed his podcast
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
No,
having
it's
to
not
do it.
Undisputed, is it?
I think
Isn't that Stephen A. Smith's show?
what's uninterrupted?
Uninterrupted.
All right. It was on something. We can we'll get to that and more. And Don't Do This coming up next, and then got AJ at the bottom of the hour here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Now, we got a bunch of hybrid kind of don't and do this.
There's a little bit of each
today. And I don't even know where this one fits in, but I wanted to bring it up. So apparently LeBron has been getting this question, and he decided to answer it on the Uninterrupted, The Shop, his podcast, video podcast that he does on Uninterrupted. And the question here, Woods, and you tell me what you think he should have said. Is Bronny allowed to call him Dad when they're on the court together?
Dad,
in practice.
Dad.
Like, hey, Dad, I'm open. Hey, Dad, I'm open. Like, can he say that?
Pops.
So LeBron said, no. Hell no, actually. He said, no, there's no dad calling when we're playing basketball. You can call me 2-3 or Bron. He said in the car, if we're riding together, I can be Dad. But
Christmas morning, thanks, Dad.
When we're on the Lakers together, I do not want to hear Dad.
Dad.
Like, Dad.
Is that from Step Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Bronny usually just calls him Bron anyway.
Bron.
So.
What do you call your dad? Chief.
Chief is what, well, his name's Steve, like yours, and all the little grandkids who couldn't say Steve, it came out as Chief.
That sounds
Chief.
I mean, that's a badass name for like a patriarch. Yes,
I used to when I was little though. I used to call him Pops.
Pops.
Yeah,
I call my dad Pops.
Oh.
Yeah, Pops, Dad. I'm Bo's coach. He can call me Dad. It's fine, right?
Yeah. LeBron says we cannot be running down the court, and he'd be like, "Dad, I'm open. Dad, come on! No, you cannot do that.
Cannot
do that.
Would wear him.
That
out.
Would be the don't do this.
I think he posted something on Instagram. It was like, just quote, "Dad, get your ass back on defense."
Yeah, get that ass back. Yeah, it's great. So this is like again, it's a combo. Don't and do this, but Oscar De La Hoya and Holly Saunders they're a very attractive couple with their bodies are. They're very fit. Very fit. And there was a video that popped up over the weekend of them in Mexico. She was in a two-piece bikini, looking great, and he was in a banana hammock.
A mankini.
A mankini. I mean, and this thing did not leave anything to the imagination.
It was the one that goes like Borat style, over the shoulder?
Well,
I thought I saw that one. No,
this
was just the
hammock. Just the, for the... Right. Just the hammock. It is thin, and you saw, like, floppage. They were dancing around, so you saw, like, the whole thing. And they're dancing around. People are like, are they on drugs? Like, what are they doing?
That's what I thought.
Posting this video. Well...
What's the least clothing you've ever worn in public?
In public?
Yeah.
Shorts and a T-shirt.
Right. I mean, a bathing suit, obviously. You go to the pool.
Yeah, okay, I didn't wear...
What's the smallest bathing suit you would wear?
Probably the one... Remember when we just talked about how you can't buy shorts that are above... they're all above the knee now. Yeah. So I did. I bought some chubbies. And I wore them in Hawaii, and I felt very, very self-conscious about it. So that's what you'll get.
But like a Speedo, no chance.
Never.
And one of these that Oscar De La Hoya was wearing, absolutely no chance.
There's not a bet.
You'd have to do a lot of grooming before you could even start thinking about something like that.
Like a professional, waxing and all that. Like you'd have to really go deep. But he looks like he's hairless. It looks like he's fully groomed. And her as well. But so they were dancing around, and I was like, well, they're clearly on some sort of psychotropic drug, and they're having a great time, and looks really great. Well, turns out it was all for a good cause, allegedly. I don't know if I buy this, but I'm going to go with it because it actually does kind of make a little sense. So she actually came out with a statement and said, so a lot of you thought we were crazy with the first video we made, but all we really wanted to do was bring awareness to the Tatas and to the Peckers. Because, it's a quote, Adam, Michael, because it is that time of year for you to get a prostate exam and a mammogram.
Oh.
Let's knock out cancer. De La Hoya,
good message.
Still donning the tiny banana hammock added. That's nice. They shelled out $50,000 of their own money to help provide screenings to a hospital in L.A.
Well, that's a do-do this.
That's a do this for sure.
It's either a kudos to them or a kudos to their PR teams.
Right, yeah. We hope that our lighthearted video brings awareness to two diseases that are not funny at all. We want to do whatever we can to help men and women with access that they need to remain healthy for their families. So we want this to become less of a taboo subject in the community and spread the message that people should get checked early and annually. And I fully support her making more videos and posting them on the internet. Fully support.
And then finally, this is a do this story.
DD mega
Just because
doo-doo.
it's smart. So if you saw the news, the Pittsburgh Pirates are moving O'Neal Cruz out to center field. And O'Neal Cruz was talking yesterday, and he said, well, obviously, I know someone who has made this transition very successfully from shortstop to the outfield. And he says, I'm going to reach out to Fernando Tatis Jr. to see how he did it. Gold Glover, he said, he's definitely on my list. He's the closest to me. At some point, I will give him a call just to ask for advice and see how his process was.
That's awesome.
That's smart, and that's
mature,
respectful.
And mature.
And Fernando Tatis, already a role model for other players in Major League Baseball, as O'Neal Cruz is now going to make that transition from the infield to the outfield, like Fernando successfully did in becoming a Platinum Glove winner last year.
I thought it was also a pretty cool moment. Who's the kid that plays center for the Cardinals that made that?
Victor Scott the second. Oh, what a good moment. Yeah.
Phenomenal catch. Jackson Merrill takes his helmet off and gives him the look like, are you
And then waits
kidding
around
me?
to give him a hug as
Give
he
him a
comes
hug
back.
after. Yeah, man. I
So
thought
apparently
that was
they played
special.
against each other in the minors
That's
in
so
Double A
cool.
last year, too, so they had seen it before. And boy, I thought that was a hit for sure. That was an RBI double they took away from Jackson Merrill with
yeah.
that
Yeah.
play. Boy, Jackson barreled a couple of balls yesterday. Got 2 hits. Also probably could have had 2 more. Manny could have had more too.
Yeah.
He barreled some just right at guys. Deep warning track flies.
Guys are seeing it right now, man. It's fun.
It certainly feels like it.
It's fun.
And
But
that's,
yeah, I love that.
That's don't-ish and do-ish this on a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, tons going on. We are a month away from the end of the regular season.
Oh, my God.
Adam Jones will check in. We'll talk some more Major League Baseball with our 5-time All-Star on a Big League Wednesday. That is coming up next here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It is a fun pennant race. A lot of teams still just anywhere. You could finish anywhere right now. 1, 3, 6.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely wide open. Padres right now 3 games behind the Dodgers in the NL West after picking up a game last night, tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks, top the wild card standings. We got Adam Jones standing by on a Big League Wednesday. Talk to AJ right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Seeing a lot of the usual slowing in the usual spots. Just a couple accidents to mention here. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on South 5 Coastline before La Costa. Those vehicles are blocking the fast lane, and a crash in middle lanes on southbound 15 just past Rainbow Valley. A couple vehicles over the right shoulder as well. In peak wildfire season is the last resort. SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's start by asking, where in the world is Adam Jones? He was in Baltimore last week.
Yep.
Before that, Milwaukee, San Diego, All-Star game in Texas. It's been quite the whirlwind summer. AJ, where are you now?
Boys, I'm tired. I'm back home in Barcelona.
Back in Barcelona. I can imagine.
I'm tired.
That's a lot of flights.
That's a lot.
I'm not even tired. Not tired. I'm tired.
Tired.
I'm tired, boys.
How?
That's a laundry detergent for us white people.
That's right. Yeah, tied. Yeah, you're tied. That's right. How was the Markakis induction?
It was great. I think he deserved to get his flowers from the Baltimore fans. I know it's a long time since he's been there. It's been 10 years. It was great to see his family there. I talked to his dad. It just was so nostalgia for his parents, who obviously grew up in that organization also. And it was the old guys. See some of the guys come back. Weeders, Jim Johnson, CD, and it was a great time to be around baseball, and great that Nick got the love shown that he needed.
Saw that a 44-year-old Rich Hill is back in the big leagues again, signed with the Red Sox, his 20th MLB season. I mean, you got 5 more years to get a comeback going here, AJ. Yeah. I mean, he's 5 years older than you are.
Hey, that curveball's still bending, man. It's still bending. It's still working. I mean, he's still hitting 90 and still got the breaking ball. It's working for him. God bless him. I mean, it is. God bless his family for continuously to push him to do this. I mean, God bless his wife for just wow. It's spectacular. And obviously the credit goes to him too for still wanting it. You know, it comes to a point where me physically, I just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't do it anymore at the rate I was doing it. For Rich, he's thoroughly enjoying it, and teams are still balling at him because, again, he has a lot of knowledge. He's been in big situations, and again, not necessarily if he's going to pitch well, but he has a lot of information to give to a lot of young guys that are playing in this tight race. Red Sox, I mean, I don't know if they're in it right now. I mean, they're not out of it. I think they're 5 back from the wild card at this present moment. So obviously, with 30-some games or 20 whatever some games left, there's still time, and I think they're looking for a light in a bottle, and maybe it gives them 4 or 5 good starts.
Let me ask you this. Talking to Adam Jones here on Ben & Woods this morning. I flipped the game on last night. They're playing in St. Louis. Dylan Cease is covered in sweat, head to toe, before he's thrown a pitch. And when you play those games, AJ, there's probably places you loved playing, and then you looked at the calendar and you went, oh, man, August in St. Louis is going to be rough. How do you prepare? I mean, it's already been a long season. 130 games are already under your belt. You're sore, you're tired, and now you got to go out and you got to fight the elements of humidity. Was there anything you did differently as a center fielder or an outfielder to prepare yourself to play in those games?
Well, obviously, it is what it is. That's first and foremost. There ain't no excuses made. I mean, the opponent has the same hot-ass weather, too. I think the fans are the craziest ones.
Yeah.
Got to come in there and pay to sit in that suit. But no, it's about managing your energy. One thing I told a couple young outfielders with the Orioles is like, look, it's late in the season. I know you're young, you got energy, but look, when you go traveling to the West Coast, as they're in Dodger Stadium right now, I told them, hey, look, you're going to be tired that first day. I don't care what you say. You can be 23, 25. You're going to be tired. Don't do anything the first day. It's August. Trust me. I think you know how to hit. I think you know how to catch a fly ball. You know how to catch a ground ball. And they got a good win last night.
Yeah,
you know
they
what I
did.
mean? It was a scrappy win. It was a scrappy win. Yeah, a win is a win, especially in this part of the season. And, today, get after it today. But you just have to minimize your activities again. You have to realize it's hot. And the humidity drains you a little bit differently than the Phoenix weather. That's scalding. But this humidity just takes it out of you. So me personally, I just not do much come the summer months. Once June 1st, June 15th, I'd say hit and it started to get hot in Baltimore, I say, hey, it's time to cut back like 50% on most of the things I did. And then once August comes, it's another 25% of that. And September, it's really more of a show and go because at this point, I got it all down and I'm sore as hell. So I need to preserve all this energy.
Yeah.
Talking to Adam Jones here, the 5-time All-Star and center fielder. And we've talked about Jackson Merrill several times throughout this year, his transition to center field, the Rookie of the Year battle with Paul Skeens, which I think is over now after another walk-off home run this week for Jackson Merrill. But what I want to ask you about, and I don't know what you remember from your rookie season, we often see rookies kind of hit a wall at some point because they're not used to 162 games, and now plus with the playoffs, and he's played almost every single day. He got a day off a couple of weeks ago, but that's about it. He's going to get to 155, 156 games played before the playoffs. How do you push through when you're a rookie? And I don't know, how has he avoided not hitting that rookie wall that sometimes other guys run into?
Well, I mean, first off, it's just his personal talent. I mean, it's that is taken over, and you just see, his foolishness. Again, he's not the guy that's the focal point in that lineup. Obviously, you have to worry about Manny, Bogarts, Kim, and then obviously Tatis is coming back. So he's been able to just fly under the radar, not for too long. Again, not for too long. So he's been able to fly under the radar for a little bit of the season and just do his. When you're hitting, start hitting 8th, 9th, and then you start to do something, you start hitting 6th, 7th, you know what I mean? People, they start noticing when you're moving up in that lineup a little bit. And again, I think he's a future, definitely a middle of the lineup kind of guy. And they're going to start pitching him differently. And this is when it comes to chess match. But I just think that his athleticism has allowed him to have an 0 for 3, but still do something.
Yeah, do something.
I said this to Colton Cowser. Said, dude, you're 6'3", 210, 220, and you can run. You're athletic as hell. You better beat out the double plays. You better take that extra base. You better steal that base. You better score on every double. You better do all these things. And guess what he's doing? He's doing all these things that is allowing his athleticism to take over. But it's hard to hit every single day. There's good defenders, as you see Manny making an unbelievable play last night against, obviously his greatest adversary of this generation, the 2 best third basemen, I believe.
Yep.
And you go through these lines, and what he's done is he's just gone through them. And again, he has guys that surround him that are focal point. And Manny, I know, has been in his ear. Tatis has none in Bogarts. It's like, hey, let's preserve this. It's a long season. And, being around the Padres a little bit this year, it seems like he has the right head on his shoulder, and the coaches have a great routine and a great regimen for him and for everybody else. And they're hitting their stride right now, so that's why it looks good. And then look, Manny's fully healthy right now, it looks like. Body's moving a little bit better, and, his arm is good. So I just think it's right now it's a really good time for Padres baseball.
Talking about Jackson Merrill, talking to Adam Jones here on Ben and Woods this morning. I watched a piece that Xavier Scruggs did, talking about how he covers the entire plate. I mean, they make adjustments to him, he makes adjustments right back. It really is pretty staggering to see that out of such a young kid. But I think, a lot of credit's got to go to Victor Rodriguez, the hitting coach. A lot of credit to Mike Schilt as well. Talking about the consistency of the message since day one, AJ. Now, it's one thing to say it in spring training. I think it's another thing to stick to it and then get the buy-in from the clubhouse is something everybody's talking about. Who was your most consistent manager as far as message goes?
Well, I mean, first off, that's very important as a message, And this message, everything is personal. Merrill doesn't hit like Tatis, who doesn't hit like Manny, who doesn't, like, everything is personal. And I've always felt like if you just have a guy who does the same thing for everybody, that sucks. But for me, it was Buck, honestly. I mean, Buck was consistent. His message was, look, I need y'all to win today. I don't give a damn how you do it. I don't care what it looks like. It could be pretty. Hey, if I have to go through 6 pitchers, I don't care. I need this W today. And that right there told us, like, look, I don't need you all to hit 5-run home runs. Can't do it. I need you to move the guy over. I need you to sacrifice that guy. I need you to drive the guy in. I need you to crunch down and make that play. I need you to maybe make a spectacular play. I need you to turn those double plays. It's like you play the games like Marcos said the other day, why O'Neal Cruz is going to the field. You need to make 99.9% of the routine plays in the major leagues. If you don't do that, I can't trust you. That's just first and foremost. If you can't do that, I can't trust you. And spectacular plays happen, as you see with Machado last night. So, and Merrill got robbed by Victor Scott. So, you see those spectacular plays, but the routine play has to be made, and that was Buck's message. Like, you're gonna struggle at the play. You're gonna look terrible a lot of the times, and that's okay. Battle and figure it out. But on that defensive side, no. And if that play ain't made, I can't trust you.
AJ, one thing that Mike Schill does, preach is consistent quality at bats, and he says our team does that well. They go out. Even down, 8 in the 9th inning, he likes to see good at bats. But what does that exactly mean in your mind as a big leaguer? Like, what's a good at bat? What's a bad at bat? I mean, is it a good at bat if it ends in a single? Because you can have a good at bat and strike out,
sure,
and you can have a bad at bat and probably hit a home run. So, what does that really mean when a manager wants to see good at bats?
Well, I've never heard of a bad at bat resulting in.
I guess not.
I've never heard of bad at bat, resulting in a hit. I've never yet to see that.
Okay.
Well, you can have your D. You can put your D swing on a pitch and float one in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey.
But what's a good at bat and a bad at bat?
That's called a bullet in the books, by the way.
That's right.
So for me, I would say is getting a good pitch to hit. You know what I mean? Like, late in the game, obviously you got guys, especially the relievers, who have tendencies to, maybe throw a first pitch curveball, first pitch slider, first pitch split. Now, if you get a good pitch to hit late in the game and like early in the count and put a swing on a good pitch to hit, I don't think anybody would be mad. I think if you went up there, it's like over aggressive and just swinging at whatever you wanted to, and first swing was wild at a pitch that was out of this. I think people are going to be like, hey, let's zone it up a little bit. But I just think it's about getting a good pitch to hit. You can't decipher that part. Like if it's the first pitch or if it's the sixth pitch, if it's a good pitch in your zone and you're able to drive this pitch, then hey, swing at it. I mean, nobody ever bothers Corey Seager. He's one of the most aggressive pitch guys on the first pitch. Also does incredible damage on it. So I think it's just about a good at bat is picking the good pitch that you can drive, putting a good swing on it. Now again, the result might not be there just because there's 9 defenders or 8 defenders out there who are trying to make money themselves. So you have to remember that. But, I think a bad at-bat would be going up there and just wildly swinging at a pitch, just thinking that, hey, he's just going to groove me a fastball because, he's dumb. No, he's not going to do that to you, buddy.
So these pitchers are good enough. They're going to get you out plenty of times. Don't get yourself out
100%.
By swinging at a slider off the plate on a 1-0 count and hitting a ground ball to the second baseman. Don't try to.
See, that's the part, too, is that if you swing and miss, if you swing at a bad pitch, I had a problem with that. It's my athleticism took over where I swung at it, but my simple self hit the ball. Sometimes I wish I just swung and missed at the 1-0 slider. Why do you have to put it in play? Just swing and miss. So sometimes the athleticism of the player makes him put the ball in play. Sometimes you do want to have that swing and miss on those pitches, but obviously with 2 strikes, you got to buckle down.
I think Luis Ariz sometimes has that.
he
He's
does.
so good at making
so
contact.
Good.
I probably would have been better off just missing that one because that was not a good pitch to hit.
Missing it.
100% miss it.
Exactly.
I got to tell you, AJ,
it's so annoying.
Your thing that you gave us last year, your sound clip of the first 2 swings are mine, the next one's for the team. I've used it for me playing ball on Sundays. I've used it for my kids. I've used it for the kids that I'm coaching. It's some of the best advice I've ever gotten. If you're a coach out there, AJ said it, man. First 2 swings are yours. Go get it, man. Find your pitch, drive it.
Yeah.
The last one, this one's for the team. Choke, poke, don't strike out, get the guy over. It has helped me tremendously in my playing and my coaching. So I wanted to thank you for that. I think about it every single day of my life, dude. It's really some of the best advice I've ever gotten.
You got to battle, man. That's the thing. It's hard enough, but hey, 2 strikes. Hey, just take the ego away. You still can hit a home run if you choke up. Barry Bonds hit a lot of them while choking up. So it's okay to strip it. It's okay to take your finger out or your pinky off the damn knob and put slide it up a little bit. It's
That's
okay.
right. That's right. Yeah, it won't hurt.
No one's gonna get mad at you and call you choke and poke. It's okay.
100%.
All right, get some rest and relaxation so you won't be so tired when we talk to you next
got
Wednesday.
practice to go to, man.
Oh, God. Have fun.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week either way. Thanks, Adam.
All right, brother. All right.
Adam Jones, 5-time All-Star Always fun finding out where he is, where he's been, where he's going next, and getting his thoughts on the grand old game.
It is nuts, though. Think about you land in St. Louis, and you're like, all right, I know what's out there. I'm not hitting. Like, I'll give me some front toss, something. Like, I'm not taking grounders. I'm not taking fly balls. I mean, every player's different. Every player's got a routine.
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
Hey, you going to get some work out there today, Woodsy? No.
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
No, I know my body. It's nuts, man. But
if you go out before the game and do all your work and then find in the third inning you're just
gassed,
done.
You're just toast.
That's not a great strategy.
I'll take a few extra ground balls in Tampa. This
Yeah,
weekend.
100%. You rip them down. I'll be out there extra 15 minutes. But watching that game last night, you could feel it. You could feel it through the television of like, this looks miserable. Miserable.
I saw Scott's jersey when he got into the game. I'm like, he just got in the game. It's like just soaked.
Dylan Cease just looked as uncomfortable as I've ever seen a pitcher on the mound. I mean, Rick Ankiel looked more uncomfortable, but that's because he had no idea where it was going. Dylan Cease just looked like, not like I want to get out of here, but it was just labor. It was just, he was laboring out there all night and just could not land certain pitches in certain spots and still grinded, I guess.
And as AJ said, both teams had to deal with it. And, but I do think when you live in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And you play there, that's an advantage for the home team more than the road team. Donovan Solano said it after the game. I think it was, or David Peralta. Like, yeah, we're in San Diego where the weather is really, really nice, and we're very used to that good weather. This is not normal for us.
Just remember, and you watch Dylan Cease, full sleeves, by the way. Full spandex sleeves on both arms. And I'm like, I understand you want to be comfortable. I understand you have a routine.
Like one of those wrestlers trying to make weights.
But
before
the garbage bag
yeah.
on him. Like, I couldn't believe it. Going full sleeves in St. Louis, heat index of what? 108, 111?
I wonder how much weight he lost during that game.
4 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just pouring sweat. And the new uniforms, you can tell they're not great for that. Moisture wicking. I mean, it looked like he was wearing paper towels out there. A uniform made of paper towels. Stuck to him the whole time. It's gnarly, man.
I think it's supposed to be a tad cooler, just a tiny bit with some clouds.
Yeah,
so
that would be great.
Still sticky, obviously, but we'll see. We'll have more on today's game coming up in our second half of the show. We've got our Incorporator to pay off. Bret Boone's going to join us. All coming up. Do not go anywhere. More Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks so much for being here and participating in the chat and Twitter and everywhere else. I don't have Facebook, so I don't see the comments on Facebook. Something tells me I'm probably pretty glad I don't, but it's a story for another day. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer, and Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Paulie has to jet for a second. We've got a kid coming in who wants to, he's interested in this business. Now, can't have interns here. It's for whatever reason. I don't know why. Because
corporate policy.
Yeah, trust me. If we could, we'd have 40 of them.
Well,
40.
I think part of it is that nowadays they've realized it's really not fair to have unpaid internships.
Sure.
But then companies go,
okay,
then we're just not having interns.
Correct.
We don't want to pay them.
Yeah, we're not going to pay them.
It's kind of, there's no good solution there.
So, but we will oftentimes, when somebody presents us with one of these ideas, say, yeah, come on by and we'll see. You can see how the sausage is made. But little does this kid know, he's actually going to do the whole 9 o'clock hour. I'm going to dip. I'll just give him the mic and say,
come on, you can do the whole week this week. We don't even have a roundtable tomorrow.
I'll throw you. I mean, what better experience than just saying, here you go, kid. Here's the mic. You got an hour. Have fun.
Throw them into the deep end.
Right into the fire, man. I mean, we were all thrown in the fire at some point in our careers. And I don't know this kid's name. Maybe Andrew, I think.
I thought Trevor.
Or maybe Trevor.
It's in an email somewhere.
It is. I mean, so I hope you guys enjoy this kid.
You call him Andrew, I'll call him Trevor, and
right,
we'll see
who's right.
Who's right when he walks in.
But let's just give him the mic, Ben, and we can dip and let him do his thing.
That would be an interesting segment.
It would be a great segment.
Terrifying, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, hey kid, it's
scar
yours.
him for life here.
Yeah, you wanted it, you got it, right? So there's another. We have a couple of different topics here to talk about, but one of them.
Well, I want to get an update first. Have you gotten your Oasis tickets yet for Manchester, England on your birthday?
No, they're not on sale yet.
Okay,
I've got
pre-sale, nothing.
So there's got an email yesterday. Sign up for the pre-sale. Okay, so I do. I'm not kidding you when I tell you this. They had a questionnaire. How many times have you seen Oasis? Who was the original drummer?
What's the right answer?
I don't know.
The more you have seen them, the more likely you are to get tickets, or do they want new people who haven't seen Oasis to get tickets?
No earthly idea.
Trivia question.
Who was the original drummer?
Who's the answer?
It was Tony McCarroll.
Okay.
And so
you can just look that up on Wikipedia.
Good, yeah. But. And so you go through that, you answer it, then you get an email which you have to confirm, and so I'm allegedly in the queue for the pre-sale. What's up, buddy? What's your name? Trevor.
I was right.
You were right. I thought it was Andrew. Sorry.
It's Trevor.
Andrew, Trevor, everybody.
Trevor doesn't know that he's hosting the 9 o'clock hour
We're
solo.
going to give you the whole the mic.
We're leaving early.
Yeah.
And the Trevor show is
going
to be 9 to 10 today.
I hope you're dynamic and entertaining. But anyway, so I get the email. I confirm it. I've got irons in the fire. I got a buddy that's looking into stuff. I got so many irons in the fire for this show. And I did get, I will tell you, some disappointing news. My little brother can't go to the July shows because he needs to be home for June and July because this,
more of a won't go than a can't go, but
it's a can't go. This moron is running his third Ironman.
No, Ben's right. It's a won't.
He can't.
He's
though.
choosing to run the Ironman.
Yeah, right. Well, he's training and all that. He's already done 2.
Can't is like my kid's got leg surgery
right.
that week.
That's true.
Won't is I'd rather go do my third
Ironman. I don't know what's gotten into him, but we clearly don't have.
I told that to my when I went to my trainer yesterday. She goes, "That's crazy. 3? He's done 3 of those.
Yeah,
wow.
He's done 2, and he's training for his third. So this whole plan I had is out the window now. He said, if they announce the U.S., we'll definitely do that. Maybe we'll go to Chicago and where the site of the original concert was supposed to be. That would be pretty cool, or the Rose Bowl. So listen to this though, Ben. A total of 1,066,888 tickets will be available over the 14 gigs, with demand set to be 4 times that. These shows will sell out in less than 3 minutes. Extra dates will be added for sure. So I got the clearance this morning from the missus. that she said, since Brett can't go and it's way far and it's your 50th, go if you want to go. If you want to go by yourself and travel
By
international-
yourself.
So I think my 50th will be a pilgrimage.
Do you believe her?
She gave me the go-ahead this morning. She said she didn't. I mean, she's like, yeah, go. Have a ball.
So the way you phrased it kind
That's
of was
sad.
like, hey, if you want to
No,
just
no.
leave,
No,
go
no,
for
no,
it.
no.
You or me, one of us. Trevor, do you want to go to Manchester, England next year with Paul,
Oasis?
with the Woods to see Oasis?
I'd go.
So I'm actually semi-excited about it. I think that's cool on your 50th to like have a little pilgrimage of like, this is something I want to do. I'm going to go do it, and I'm going to fly back.
It's a good attitude. It also could be viewed as spending your birthday alone. Is kind of.
But I will not be. I'll be with 100,000 of my closest friends. Everyone having the time of their lives. That's the goal anyway. So if I get tickets to that, I'm definitely going that weekend. I'm going to try to go to both shows, but that would be pretty spectacular. But we found a better one for our old
may
pal
have
Ben.
a 49th birthday plan here, thanks to.
No, it'll be your. Oh no, it's this year.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
this year.
It'll
yeah.
be your 49th.
Yeah, Eddie K619 tweeted me and said, "Oasis Schmoasis." This is the big one for Ben Higgins, and it's October 25th through November 9th. So right during my birthday, new residency at the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas. Foreigner with featured original members.
Wait, what are the dates again?
October 25th through November 9th.
Oh, I'm just going to miss them.
A residency.
Well, I mean, it's like 3 weeks of shows there.
Yeah. You think you would travel?
Foreigner.
Would you travel for a show? The answer is no.
Vegas, Venetian's nice.
Very
nice. It's a pretty nice spot. I do like all the songs listed at the top of the flyer. Jukebox Hero, our Tuesday open.
Hot-blooded.
Urgent. Cold as Ice.
Yeah.
Double Vision. I Want to Know What Love Is. And Feels Like the First Time. I mean, if they just play those 7, I'm good to go. And
In a
that's
row.
it. Just play those in a row, and then I can get back to the tables.
That's an easy one. That is an easy one.
Well, while you guys are off seeing Oasis and Foreigner in London and Las Vegas, I will be spending my birthday next month at Bloom Nightclub. I can go see Eurotrash.
What is Eurotrash?
I don't know. I just looked up
concerts on your birthday. Our boss, Adam Klug, just
Dead
said...
on a Sunday is playing at Soda Bar.
Adam said, I wouldn't go see Foreigner if they were playing in our performance studio here at the office.
Are you insane, Adam?
He is the Dan and Shay lover. Imagine bagging on Foreigner when you're like, yeah, I went to Dan and Shay.
Imagine bagging on anything.
Imagine bagging on any band. If you, as a grown man,
You
went
missed
to
your
see,
team in the World Series.
to go see Dan and Shay. And
Is he insane?
And let's be honest, he teared up 1,000%. He likes it. He says he went for his wife. He didn't.
I gave Paul a Foreigner album for Christmas. It's
He
his
did.
favorite
I
album
love,
ever.
I love it too.
I don't know about that.
It's so good.
It's really good.
So-
I mean, I played it. I'll just put it on, and it's just like banger after banger after
It is.
banger.
So now that I've gotten it in my head of going solo, people are like, I'll go with you. I'll go with you. It's in my head that I want to go solo. I don't want to go with anybody now. Now I just want to go by myself, because then you don't have to worry about, did you get your ticket? Do I need to buy them? Like, I can just go and do it and then come back.
One of the greatest things I remember about becoming an adult is traveling by yourself for the first time and
It's
not having
elite.
to worry about anybody else.
Nobody else's feelings, what they want to
You
eat.
get to the airport when you want. You
Yeah.
go eat if you want to eat. You don't eat if you don't want to eat.
Yeah.
You're even waiting for the rental car. I'm going, I can go whatever I want. Pick whatever car in the aisle I want to take.
When I was
I don't have
young,
to consult with anybody.
When I was younger, the thought of going anywhere alone paralyzed me. And then I got married and I had kids, and now the thought of going anywhere alone, whether it's CVS or anywhere, I'm like, this is where I really can shine. And it's not that I don't. My son loves this band so much too, and both of my kids. The thought of taking them on a cross-continent trip, then getting there with 100,000 drunk Brits losing their mind, the thought of it gives me the worst anxiety I've ever had. And so there's no way I can do that, but I can go by myself, and I don't have to worry about anybody else's travel, I can stay in a dump Airbnb or a hotel in Manchester. I don't care. I can fly whatever seat I want. I don't have to worry about anybody else. Now I'm like, I hope nobody goes with me at all. I hope I get one lone ticket and the 50th birthday pilgrimage.
You will need to document it for us a little bit on social media.
Come on, man.
We want to be along the ride.
It'll be the
with
best
you.
content that I've ever done. It's going to be so much fun. So
the bigger question is, you're going to bring the equipment, right?
Yeah,
You'll
no,
do the show
absolutely.
from-
That's on a weekend, thank God. It's on a Friday and Saturday, so I'll be taking Friday off to travel for sure.
Are you just going for the weekend?
I'll probably go like 4 days.
That's it?
Yeah, it's a couple travel days and 2 shows. Yeah, just a quick one, man.
It's a lot of flying.
Yeah. Tony says, you force your kids to listen to Oasis. Yeah.
You're not going to take your golf clubs?
No.
Head up to Scotland for a couple of days?
No.
Hit the links?
No.
St. Andrews, Old Course? No.
That's my brother.
If I was going with you, I'd make you do that.
My brother suggested that. Let's bring Dad, and we go up in Scotland, and I'm like, I'm just going to go.
Now this is turning into a 10-day.
Now this is turning into a 10-day vacation, and I'm already having another vacation. So it's, that's the plan right now.
Vacation over here.
Rufus is midlife. Yeah. Midlife crisis.
Johnny says, Woodsy really on a generational run of vacations this year?
This will be next year.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you've got your Hawaii's. You've got your
Philadelphia
next
Philly
year.
next year. July's going to be a very busy month for your old pal.
Colorado coming up.
Yeah,
correct?
Colorado coming up, allegedly. We'll see if that. We got San Francisco in a couple weeks.
Everybody, continue to please support and listen to this program because Woodsy is going to need that support to fund all of his extravagant trips that he has planned.
Yeah, YOLO.
Our boss, Michael, says more vacation, Island Boy. Thank you.
Sign me up, man. You only live once.
All right, we've got the...
Island boy, and I've been trying to make.
Paulie's so fast.
I'm an island boy.
Yeah, go buy T-shirts, please.
All right, we had the Incorporator with Jesse Agler yesterday when he joined us, and he nailed it. We will pay that off for you when we come back, and then Bret Boone will join us at the bottom of the hour on a Big League Wednesday. Don't go anywhere. It's Bennett Woods and Paul and Trevor on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. A great song that Charlie Blackmon has scarred me on forever.
I know. We almost need to bang it from the rotation here because Paulie, make a note. Would you just bang that entirely? Because
I love that song.
I love it too, but he's ruined it.
It gives me nightmares because I always feel like he's about to do something bad to the San Diego Padres when I hear it.
When you hear it, you're like, oh, there's a double. 2-run double there. So good, man. It's a great song, though.
It is a great song.
Yep.
All right, welcome back. It's Ben and Woods, and Tuesdays are Incorporator Day with Jesse Agler, the voice of the Padres. Joined us for a lot of corn talk yesterday.
Lots of corn yesterday.
When we learned that the corn will actually sweat in the Midwest heat, creating even more heat and humidity, and that's why the Padres and Cardinals looked so miserable last night in the game. So with that in mind, I was able to give Jesse a corn-related Incorporator word. Paulie? Jesse is a civilized man. I'm sure he's gone to some nice restaurants and seen this item perhaps on a menu at a fancy Mexican restaurant, but it's a fungus that grows on corn that is a delicacy, especially in Mexican cuisine.
You eat the fungus.
You actually eat the fungus. In America, it's just called corn smut, but when you order at the restaurant,
I like that.
It's called huitlacoche.
Huitlacoche?
Huitlacoche, and I will text it to you, Jesse, but
please, yes.
Huitlacoche.
Huitlacoche.
Yeah. All right. That's a tough one to work into a broadcast.
Very.
But, Jesse nailed it fairly early in the game, I believe, yesterday, wasn't it, Paulie?
Yeah, he texted me and he said, hey, sorry about it, because he started his setup and then Miles Mikolas got hit with the comebacker.
Right. Yeah.
And
Twice, actually.
Twice. And it kind of slowed everything down. So I had to kind of chop it up a little bit. So this is one of the longer setups and executions, but we go to the top of the third out at Busch Stadium.
0-1. The pitch to Bogarts in the air, foul, out of play, right side, strike 2. You're going to think I'm making this up, and I swear I'm not. But apparently it is even more humid than usual because of a particular crop in the Midwest right now. Corn. 0-2. Bogarts takes a little bit low, ball 1. Apparently the corn is sweating. Did I know this was a thing before today? I did not. But apparently it's a real thing, and the corn, the crop, when it's in the ground, can sweat and release even more moisture and humidity into the air. 1-2 pitch is outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I did not know that, but clearly I've been here when the corn has been sweating before. Because it really feels like this. It feels like every summer we get here, but certainly the corn could be adding a little bit of extra humidity.
So yeah, the corn is sweating, which is making the humidity even more oppressive. And I'm sure those of you who are very into cuisine are wondering, what does that mean for the huitlacoche?
Very nice.
And I don't know. I am not a farmer. I don't understand the different ways that the conditions impact the corn. But that's where we are in St. Louis in late August 2024.
That's fantastic.
So, you probably, if you listen to Gwen and Chris, you know that Tony is a big sweater. Especially,
is he a sweater?
Yeah, if he hasn't like any spicy food at all, just starts dripping instantly, and he's got the shaved head, so he just like instantly, like a fountain, the second he gets any spicy food. I've got to imagine that the heat and humidity of St. Louis also makes him start sweating. So I bet he was very uncomfortable.
Miserable. It sounded like
the last couple of days.
The booth is terrible there, as Jesse said, and dark and hot,
bug infested,
and Dave Marcus sitting behind you with 2 fans on him, and
but you can't have them because they make too much noise.
None for the talent. Yeah, you can't have them near the microphones, and just rotting there, and watching these pitchers pouring sweat. It's just awful. Like, we just don't give them enough credit. We don't. The broadcasters, the team, all of it. It is just miserable. It's a miserable experience, and it made me think last night. They're talking about, next season, the A's playing up in Sacramento. And the particular field that they play on in Sacramento, Ben, can get up to like 130 degrees in the summer with the heat index and bouncing off the turf and all of that. And you see that and you go, how? How are they going to do this? And of course, the A's will be playing 81 games there. It's not always that hot in Sacramento, but you're a visiting team. You're coming there. You're like, oh, cool. It's 130. I remember when we were kids, some of those games in St. Louis at Old Busch. I prefer New Busch to Old Busch. Always have. But remember that stadium? I mean, and you could like see it. I remember like Tommy Herr playing third base, and you see
The
like
heat
radiating,
waves, yeah.
and you're like, yeah,
That shimmer in the air, like a mirage.
And back then, those uniforms weighed 25 pounds to put on, and just thick as you could get. Yeah, those guys just out there dying.
I want to bring something up because you said, some of the pitchers not getting enough credit for what they've done. Players, but in particular, there's one. And I wanted to bring up Yuki Matsui because he's taken some
lumps.
He's taken some lumps. He's taken some slings and arrows. Maybe you don't know this about Yuki Matsui, but I heard Jesse mention it last night on the broadcast. He came in yesterday. He leads the Padres in appearances this year. And you say, well, what's the big deal if he's not effective? Well, he got the win last night. He's 4-2 with a 3.32 ERA in his first season in American professional baseball after coming over from Japan, making all those adjustments that you have to make, new hitters, new culture, everything that you have to do when you come from a new country. And he's got a 3.32 ERA. Jeremiah Estrada, been fantastic, 3.28 ERA. I mean, essentially, and not as many appearances as Yuki Matsui. Yuki Matsui's actually been a very valuable member of this Padres team who gets very little recognition or credit. Mostly just gets dumped on because he's given up a couple of big home runs and frustrating moments. But for the most part, he's actually been a really good pickup and signing from A.J. Preller.
Well, we always talk about players needing to make adjustments. And Yuki came in, and he had everybody just so confused with his great stuff when he started. Then he hit a rough patch, which is going to happen to every single pitcher and player throughout the course
Especially
of the season.
A rookie. He is. I know he's older because he's played in Japan, but he is a rookie.
But then he made adjustments and has been so massively effective. And again, another weapon in that bullpen. I don't look at anyone in that bullpen, and every single one of them's had a hiccup at some point. I don't look at anybody and not have trust in them, and that's got to be a good feeling for Mike Schilt. He knows more times than not he can count on those guys. It's pretty incredible how they've manipulated the starting rotation and the bullpen this year. Again, a lot of credit goes to them for sticking with guys, for Ruben helping them make adjustments on the fly, and he's been really effective. Knock on wood. I mean, we say that. I feel like every time we mention somebody.
Now you have a bullpen, though, where Yuki Matsui, a guy who has been effective, is maybe your number 5 option.
Yeah.
On days where, some of your top guys are down, you can throw him out there and feel pretty good about his chances to get some outs. Sammy Levitt posted, I think it was from this morning on MLB Network, they were talking about the Padres bullpen. Mark DeRosa said, I'm taking this bullpen to lead me through the postseason over anybody right now. Dan O'Dowd said they legitimately have a chance to win a World Series this year. The discussion, Padres 34 saves, 3.9 ERA, top half of baseball. Strikeouts per 9 innings, 4th in baseball. Walks per 9 innings, 2nd fewest in baseball. And whip, top half of baseball for their bullpen. It's a good bullpen. It's gotten much better, obviously, since the trade deadline. Wasn't horrible before. It was kind of middling, and now it is elevated itself to really the top level of bullpens in baseball.
Yeah, and he gets swing and miss. He gets chase. Now, the walks aren't great, but I think he's dialed that back a little bit.
Way back. No, way back. He's dialed it back.
So, I mean, he's been great. And what another nice weapon for Mike Schilt and Ruben Niebla to have down there. But again, making those adjustments, he easily could have thrown in the towel, man, and just I don't have it. I'm walking too many guys. I'm putting too many guys on. Guys are hitting me hard. He's been fantastic. Knock on wood.
Now, before we go to break, I know we got Bret Boone coming up. Jesse Agler wasn't done last night in the third inning. No, we got a bonus. You teased it, or you mentioned it as we were bringing Jesse on yesterday, that we'd kicked around the idea of doing Oasis lyrics, and you didn't want to jinx the band.
I'm not going to jinx it.
So we went with Ben's word. But, lo and behold, in the 6th inning, Jesse threw this in there.
They've announced the crowd as 27,224, a little smaller than yesterday. Might actually be a few more people in the building tonight. 0-2, Donovan takes outside. But either way, whether it is because of the corn sweat or the sub-500 baseball, a stunningly empty Busch Stadium. On 2 strikes to Donovan. Runner on first, 1 away. Matsui delivers, and Donovan hits it in the air up the left field line. Profar charging over, running out of room, and it'll be into the seats. This was once a baseball oasis. And it certainly can and will be again, but right now, not the case.
That was on purpose.
What a legend.
He did that on purpose.
What a legend.
Through
What
an oasis.
a legend. I like the secret second Incorporator, as Tyler said.
All right, Bret Boone will join us on a Big League Wednesday. He is coming up next. You don't want to miss that. Stick around. More Ben and Woods coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
is no longer
Padres keep rolling. We keep rolling until 10 o'clock here on a Wednesday. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan, and we've got Bret Boone standing by on a Big League Wednesday. We will chat with the former big leaguer, always one of our favorite conversations of the week, coming up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Robert Half. Well, from the looks of things, looks like a lot of folks may have overslept and then got on the roads not paying attention, because what's up with all these crashes? Northbound side of the 5, right before E Street, there is a collision involving a couple vehicles. Clearing that out of the fast lane. Also, northbound side of the 805, right before University, there is a collision in middle lanes. Trying to get that moved into the center divide. Westbound King Freeway before the 15, reports of a collision, couple vehicles involved. Over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on the northbound 5 coastline just before Carlsbad Village Drive, we have reports of a stalled vehicle partially in the slow lane. Southbound 5, a collision just past Birmingham. A couple vehicles involved. Everything is in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com.
Music can mean only one thing. We are joined right now by Odyssey MLB insider Bret Boone. Insider calls presented by Grainger, with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger has the right product for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Bret, the host of the Bret Boone podcast, featuring notable names from MLB and around sports every week, including former Braves pitching coach Leo Mazzone.
Was it Mazzone or Mazzone? Was it Mazzone or Mazzone? Let's ask.
I call him Mazzone.
Mazzone. All right.
Yeah.
I've heard both,
Leo
actually.
Mazzone.
You're right.
I think I've heard
Mazzone.
both. Yeah.
Either way, guy who coached,
Maddox
and Glavine and Smoltz.
Yeah.
And
Avery. I mean, nasty.
and we've been talking about Greg Maddox this week, Booney, with the that documentary, talking about with his brother and just some of the great stories that he's been sharing. Do you have any Greg Maddox or Braves pitching stories for us?
It's funny. I was watching and I called Greg midway. I said, I'm midway through your documentary and, in Maddox fashion. Boone, what do you think? I said, I think it's just so you. Maddox he's unbelievable. He's eccentric. He's smart as anyone I ever met from a pitcher standpoint, because pitchers are usually not very smart. But I think he kind of spread that around to that staff and why it was so astute. I mean, you hate as a hitter when you're thinking through at bats. Usually 9 times out of 10, the pitcher on the mound is just worried. He's so wrapped up in just getting it out and getting the next out. But those guys weren't. They're reading body language. They know if you're sitting on a pitch. And the 90s Braves, I think, and obviously I only got to see my generation, but the best starting rotation I think I've ever seen. And Leo was right in the middle of it. I got to play there 1 year, and my spot was right next to Leo, and he'd be rocking back and forth. And I used to, grab him and go, listen, you're stressing me out with this rocking. Like, Booney, I've been doing this for 10 years before you got here. I said, well, just give it a rest. Leo's great. He has some great insight, and really they had a philosophy in the 90s that nobody else had. They had a way to get you out. I knew what they were going to do. And if they executed their plan, you still didn't have a defense for it. It was really unique.
Why do you say pitchers aren't that smart? They're the ones who are playing every 5th day and getting full salaries for doing so.
Actually, pretty
Well,
genius.
you're going out there every single day in the heat of summer.
I'll give you an example. Because I'm playing every day. So I'm studying. Okay, if I come up, and I talk about this all the time, if I come up my first at bat, and you hang me a slider and I hit one into the seats, 9 times out of 10, I just eliminated slider from your repertoire. You don't want to throw it again.
Yep.
The real smart, high-level guys, they'll throw me 4 sliders in a row to start with my next at-bat, and I'm going back to the dugout going, what's he thinking? Didn't he see? Well, he's thinking one move ahead of me. I hated when you started thinking with me. I like to eliminate a pitch and then build my case for my next 3 at-bats off that. If I can eliminate fastball away, just a base hit to right field, I don't need to hit a homer. But if I can take a well-located fastball down and away and get a knock in that hole on the right side, that pitcher's going to, gee, how did he hit that? I located, I did it well. I pretty much eliminated fastball away. Now all I have to worry about is coming in on me, which I don't want to hit anyway, where you're going to try to trick me. It eliminates a pitch, and that's all I ever try to do offensively. If I can eliminate a pitch, I get the advantage. And it goes, the pendulum swings to my favor. But not with those guys. I mean, it didn't matter. They could throw me anything, anytime, and it didn't matter the success or the failure. There was no rhyme or reason. I couldn't eliminate a pitch.
This SOB in this video I watched, Greg Maddux, talking about in a meaningless blowout game, he's going to throw a pitch that he wants Jeff Bagwell to hit out for a home run. Wants him to. So that
I don't know if I buy that.
So
it sounds great for the legend.
But yeah, except for the legend in the playoffs, because we're going to face these guys in the playoffs. Guess what he's looking for? That 3 straight changeups away. Bagwell swings over every single one of them. Game over because he's sitting on that 2-seamer.
Catcher Eddie Perez is like, "Are you insane?"
Eddie's like, "What are you doing?" You know he pounds it inside. No, I'm going to throw one inside and watch him hit it out. And it's just insane. Yeah, it could be all BS, or happenstance, but they called him the professor for a reason. And Brett, I want to ask you. I hope this makes sense too. You're talking about that. When did you start as a player, a kid? When did you start thinking in your ABs instead of just see ball, hit ball? I'm going to pound this ball. I don't really care where it goes. What was the age for you where you're like, I have to start taking these I never thought of it. I was so scared up there. I just wanted to hit the ball and really not embarrass myself. But for you, when did it start, like, thinking through ABs like that?
You're right. I mean, because, when I'm talking to young players, I got to assess whether they're ready for this information, whether they can handle that.
Yeah.
You mentioned you were scared. You didn't have the confidence in yourself to sit on a pitch and lay off the other one. It took me a long time, and I look back on my career. That's one thing I wish I would have gotten a grasp of earlier in my career. So it was the second half of my career. I was pretty much a see ball, hit ball, coming through the minor leagues, swinging hard, hair on fire, didn't care. I got to the big leagues, I got a little humble pie real early, and I started sitting on breaking balls, but I really didn't have a formulated approach till the second half of my career where I had the ability to stick with a program. By the time I left the on-deck circle, each at-bat after at-bat after at-bat for 162 games. That's when I became really a fully rounded player, in my opinion, and I had an approach. Some days it didn't work. Some days it did, but when it didn't work, that didn't mean I abandoned it. I knew to give myself the best chance to be as successful as I can, I had to do it over a 162-game schedule, and that was going to give me that ability. It's really a cat and mouse, a chess match. I knew Pedro Martinez was reading my body language. I knew if I took a fastball for a strike in a situation, he was on to me going, wait a minute, why did Boone take that in an RBI situation? He must be sitting on something else. Now I had to counter my thinking. So with the rare guys like that, it was really a chess match. But I think it's what makes the game. When I was young, Edgar Martinez took me aside and said, Boone, you're going to have to start sitting on breaking balls. This is when I was a kid. And I remember Ken Griffey Jr. walking past us with his hat on backwards. He's like 22 years old. He's already been to 3 All-Star games. And he looks at me and goes, what are you guys doing? I said, Griff, us normal people were trying to formulate a plan for tonight. And he said just what you said, Woodsy. He said, I just see ball, hit ball. And he walked by, and I thought, well, must be nice. And Edgar looked at me and goes, don't listen to him. He's different than us. That's when I knew I had to have an approach. But really, I didn't put that fully into the process until the second half of my career.
All right, Booney. So it's you against Pedro Martinez. 0-0 count.
Yes.
And he throws you a fastball, and you take. Okay? You take it.
Depending on the situation.
And
right.
then he's thinking, why did Booney take that fastball there?
Or how did I take it?
How did you take it?
Was I late to the take? Did I get my foot down late? Like I'm looking curveball or slider, and the fastball got there too quick, so my front foot got down late. Guys like Pedro would recognize that. Guys like Maddux, Smoltz, They'd recognize that, and I knew it. And I'd get a glance at them, see if they caught it, and I could tell whether they caught it or not. Now I got to redo the thinking in my mind, and it's a nightmare. David Wells was good at it too. David Wells would throw me a heater. I wore him out the first half of my career. He'd throw me a fastball for a strike. I'd hit one in the bleachers. Next at bat, he'd throw me 3 fastballs. And he'd be laughing at me because I was taking them. And I'm going, what are you doing? That's a higher level thinking. David Wells would do that in the second half. David was very successful with me where that first part of our career I had all the success. Second half, he had all the success, and I had to make the adjustment. It's an unbelievable game. It's my favorite part about the game, the game within the game, and long-term thinking as a hitter.
It's weird, man. I didn't do any of this until I turned 40. You know what I mean? No one told me about this when I was 16, 17. It was
right. Yeah, it's not a guess, and that's what people say. Oh, you're guessing. No, it's an educated approach.
Yeah,
and if I'm
love
sitting
that.
on soft, then I'm not sitting on curveball. I'm sitting on curveball, slider, or changeup. I'm sitting soft.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get one of those, and he might throw me 3 fastballs to start, I might be 2-1, and he just throws me 3 hitters. That doesn't mean I abandon the breaking ball approach. That means I'm waiting, and baby, it's coming. If you can wait him out, get it, then you won the game. But the second part is when you get your pitch, don't miss it.
Yeah,
and
that's
when
it.
you're missing it, that's when you're in a slump, and they're getting you out with everything.
That's brilliant.
Talking to Bret Boone, Insider Calls presented by Granger. I've got one for you, and no offense to Bobby Witt Jr. or Ketel Marte or Francisco Lindor. The MVP races are pretty wrapped up. Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge this year. But for your money, which one would you want on your team? Obviously, Judge is playing the field every day. Ohtani's going to come back and pitch next year. Who's the best player in baseball?
Well, best offensive player is Aaron Judge, I think. I think he separated himself like in my generation Bonds did. I think he's the most prolific, the biggest difference maker on the offensive side of the ball since Barry Bonds, and I don't even think it's close. I think Juan Soto's a great player. I think Bobby Witt's a great player. I think Shohei Ohtani is an electric player. But offensively, I think Judge is just heads and tails above everybody right now at this stage of his career. If you're going to ask me to take one, if Shohei, can you preface it? Is Shohei going to be like a real solid number 2 or number 1?
Coming back next year, and he's pitching like he was before he got hurt.
I don't think that's a no-brainer. I'm taking Shohei Ohtani. He's just, when you add that much, he's essentially 2 all-star players.
Yeah.
An all-star pitcher and an all-star hitter, and I don't even think the greatness of Judge on the offensive side, I don't think you can fight with a guy that can, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm going to go out and pitch a 7-inning and shutout ball tomorrow as I go 2 for 3 with a 3-run homer to win the game. You can't really fight that.
How's your brother doing in New York, man? It's, this is always that time of year. Going to get down to it.
He's doing great.
Is
He's doing great.
Good.
And I laughed. He's sitting there right there with the best, second best record in baseball, and it seems like he's been hired and fired 6 times this year already.
Yeah, kind of.
If you look at Twitter, it's been 600 times.
It's unbelievable. It's just the beast of New York. But I always tell him, where else would you want to be? Who cares about the Twitter? Who cares about the talk shows? You know what you're doing. They're having a really good year. It all comes down to the postseason for them, especially in New York. And it's the team that's healthy. 2024, we've talked about on this show quite a bit. Nowadays, the most important thing is having a healthy roster going into the postseason because health is such at a premium with the amount of injuries that happen in the game today.
When you now that we are getting close here to the last month of the season, and the Yankees are fighting for a division title, the Padres and Diamondbacks are just 3 games back. There's been this whole thing though about the teams that wait and don't play in the wild card series getting kind of rusty or cold or not playing well. Like, what's your take on the postseason format and how it impacts teams, at the end of the year?
I love the format as a fan because I think it's the best thing for baseball. I don't like it as a player because I think it cheapens the postseason berth that you get and to put on your resume. That being said, I'm a fan now. I'm an analyst now. I love the postseason. I think it's exciting. So many teams are involved, and it's the toughest time in the history of baseball to be able to predict what's going to happen because you just never know. And that's why I say health is at such a premium right now. And not just because I'm on the radio in San Diego. I'll take the Padres against anybody to win the World Series right now with a fully healthy roster. Musgrove coming back and being that horse that he's been. And the way he's pitched his first, I know he's going tonight. His first 3 outings have been pretty darn good. With Darvish coming back soon. Tatis is going to come back soon. I'll take San Diego against anybody right now. And Arizona, how is Arizona? I've been looking at the roster. How are they doing?
It's incredible.
Arizona just rattled off 15-5, and they're coming. These guys are making it a race in the National League West. Phillies haven't played the greatest, but on paper they're as good as anybody. You don't hear about Milwaukee and Minnesota, but they're dangerous. And then you go over and the Clevelands, Kansas City's coming out of nowhere to make that Central a race. The Houston Astros, you can never count them out. And the young, talented Baltimore Orioles. There's just so many options. But right now in the National League, I'll take San Diego as it stands today, August 28th. I'll take the Padres right now. That bullpen is a whole different world, man, with that bullpen down there. You've got weapons everywhere. You get a lead just like last night. They came back the way they did. They've been so good offensively. It's chipping away when they're down. And then you get the lead late in the game with that bullpen. A lot of teams on the other side go, man, it's over. And when you start mentally making them feel like it's over, that's a pretty good thing. And that's what that bullpen can do in San Diego.
Love it. And Bret Boone is no homer for San Diego.
Yeah,
He'll tell it like it is, no doubt about it. Brett, thank you so much. We'll chat with you next week.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
That was Odyssey MLB insider Bret Boone. Insider calls again presented by Grainger with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger has the right product for you. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. I think that's the prevailing thought right now, that with the Padres playing as well as they are, getting healthier at the end of the season, there's no reason to think that they're not one of the favorites in a World Series tournament.
Yeah, the stuff from Boone that I love more than anything is the internal battles,
That was amazing.
But it also is disappointing because it makes you, when you hear that, you go, I know nothing. I know nothing. I really don't know a damn thing about this game. When you hear that he's watching how your foot lands on a take and
makes you feel stupid to ever comment on these guys.
It really does.
But it doesn't surprise you when you're doing something hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. You're going to get pretty next level on the thinking when it comes to whatever it is.
It's true. It's true.
Fascinating stuff from Bret Boone. We got 1 hour to go. Paulie's got a Reindl Report. Get some headlines there. Look ahead to tonight's game in St. Louis. All coming up with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Can I wish a just a nice hello across the sea to Christian Maschella. He's an Italian Ben & Woods Padres fan. He's in Italy right now. He's in
not on vacation.
Not on vacation. He lives in Italy.
Wow. So we have Welsh Fryer.
Yes,
coming out.
He's on his way.
And now we have an Italian Padres fan.
Yeah. Welcome to San Diego, Christian. You ever come to town, you let us know. And, of course, if we ever come to Italy, we'll stay with you. We'll have a great time eating all the delicious foods and whatnot.
And, again, thanks to everybody who streams us in the mornings on YouTube, puts you on our TVs at home. Watch Ben & Woods as you're getting ready for work or school or your day. But also, Paulie just let me know that we have a growing audience on Twitch.
Yeah.
So if you're joining us right now on Twitch, thank you very much.
How's it going?
Maybe we need to spend more time on Twitch.
Maybe.
Right now I'm at a total of 0 minutes and seconds on Twitch, I think.
Yeah, we distribute the show to Facebook, YouTube, 97.3's YouTube, Twitch.
We make it
there
as
used
easy
to
as
be
possible,
more as well. So I can't really get in there and control all 5 or whatever platforms. So I kind of leave Twitch, just stream the show out there, and that's about it. And then I looked and I go, as many people watching on Twitch right now as we do on YouTube.
Did you hear what he said, though?
Yeah, I did.
We need to.
That's why I started talking about all of the work that I do on the streams.
I just don't what do we do on Twitch? I know what Twitter does. I tweet. But what do you Twitch? Do you Twitch? Do you send a Twitch? Do you
I don't know.
Post
you
a
broadcast.
Twitch?
You broadcast.
Well, we're doing that then.
But there's probably people commenting that we're not responding to.
Are there comments on Twitch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's really no different than it is different, but it's very similar to streaming on YouTube.
We need to do a better job.
I'll wear that. That's my fault.
That's on you?
Yeah.
All right. I'll handle.
Ben's got enough on his plate.
It's always good to see you
Ben
accepting
does so much.
I like that he said, I've got 0 hours, 0 minutes
logged
on Twitch. How many hours or minutes do you have on the other platforms that aren't named Twitter?
I have a lot on Twitter.
That aren't named Twitter.
Not as much.
One might say 0.
I don't know. How do you do multiple social media?
It's hard. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work that we don't,
We have a Tier 1 Discord.
Yeah,
which is basically social media.
Yeah.
And it's
Discord and Twitch are different things.
Correct.
Yeah, Twitch is more like a chat room message board, more like a message board type setup.
There's what's
how's
the
our
other
TikTok?
One? TikTok. Well, we had the one. I'm still getting comments on that Nick Castellanos one, by the way.
Yeah, it's very hard to go live on TikTok. We'll get there eventually.
How's our LinkedIn page looking? Are we making a lot of connections? Job recommendations for us?
I'll update our LinkedIn page next year when it's contract negotiation.
TJ said Discord is wild, and then Guzzinator said Discord is popping. It's a lot, man.
It's fun. They have 40 different channels though. During Padres game, talk on this one. During the Ben & Woods show, go talk on this channel. During the weekends, go talk on this channel. If you want to talk about video games, go to this channel. It's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming. I stay out for the most part on Discord. I'll get tagged in things, and I'll go back and see it.
I deleted the app because I will sit there all day, and you have to monitor it. It's a lot of work to do this, and But yes, we do need to do more. The collective we need to do more.
I haven't posted on X in over a year because I know Woods will go in there and he'll respond to everybody. Every single person.
Our Instagram, Ben & Woods, private messages. I lay in bed at night. I'm like, yep, no kidding, 100%, yep, heart,
so genuine of you.
Well, it's like they send something and you have to heart. I don't want to just ignore it. Is that better than just not responding? I think it is.
I don't know.
At least they know I saw it.
I try when I'm on Twitter, I'll try to hit likes anytime someone responds to me, but I don't even get to all of those. There's only so many hours in the day.
I'll check my requests on Instagram, and if it's somebody that I don't follow or whatever, and they write something, I'll give it the double tap.
And Mark says, I'm still waiting for your response from my letter I sent in the mail. You say that maybe as a joke. I don't know if you're kidding or not.
We need an unpaid college student to handle all of
Here he
this for us.
Hey. Welcome. Yeah.
Trevor sitting in the studio didn't know that he was going to be responding to all of my social media posts
Trevor,
for the next
get
3 or 4 years.
Get your ass to work right now. Yeah, it's funny. It's not funny, but I actually, like, when we were in our last marriage counseling session, I was talking to her about, like, I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions. And Hannah's like, you have to say no and you have to ignore it. And I'm like, I'm not wired that way.
I get that too. Shelley always said, you have to say no more. You have to, you have to say no. You can't do all those things.
It's hard.
And you do more than I do.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to do. And I'm such a people pleaser. I wish I wasn't, but
which reminds me, we've got our member stream tomorrow.
Yes, we do.
For all the members in the chat. If you're not signed up as a tier 1 full member, you can do so and join us for our live stream tomorrow evening at 6:30. All no holds barred.
Yeah,
anything goes.
Literally,
on the member stream.
Ben may
once a month.
Show skin on the member stream. You don't know. You're usually at work though, and he
I
always.
I am at work. Yes.
I will say
I will
this
be at work tomorrow too.
About the member stream. He always wants to talk sports on the member stream, and we try to avoid.
Oh God!
It's. I mean, he will get into the weeds on the Aztecs and the Chargers and name it. You name it.
You say I should always be myself. Well, that's myself.
I know it is. I was
Talking
trying
sports.
to broaden you a little bit.
It's not going to work.
I know.
You've tried for 6 years.
I've tried for 6 years. I think I've done a pretty good job. But...
So, sports
or Reindl Report.
Sounds good.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
I mean, even the Reindl Report is 67% sports.
That's true. Yeah. And somebody asked, Jake said, well, why don't you guys live stream the Padres games? That's why. He is why we don't live stream the Padres games.
Stare at the Padres game.
Well, no, but he does the play-by-play. We're talking, telling a story. Somebody asks us a question, we answer it. Ben's like, it's a ground ball. Xander Bogart looks like he's got
We're in
this one.
3 different locations.
It's
Somebody
the
might
worst.
be a pitch behind.
I said, dude, it is. I go, we don't do it because it's awful.
What are they, 11:15 tomorrow, first pitch? We specifically
pick
set
tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
After the game.
Yes.
That's exactly why. Because he will stretch his play-by-play legs during those.
All right. We've got a couple of stories here in sports media. We will start off with a announcement from earlier this morning. Netflix has announced their newest sports series. It is basketball. It's called The Starting 5. It's going to be a 10-part series, and it's going to not at first I thought it was going to be for the upcoming year, like a Hard Knocks. It's going to be that Hard Knocks style, but looking back at the last season, and they're following 5 of the top players in the league throughout the season, on and off the court, injuries, family life, post game, all of that. And so LeBron James is the biggest name.
That's a big one, I'd say, to get.
Anthony Edwards.
Okay, fascinating guy.
Jimmy Butler.
Fascinating guy.
Jason Tatum. Just won a championship.
Yeah.
And Domantas Sabonis.
Get the different cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many sports documentaries and shows now.
It is.
It's the golden age.
It's like when reality shows hit.
Yeah.
It was like 1 came and then 2, and then you're like, why am I...
Too many.
There's too many. They're gonna flood the market. I mean, like, think about Full Swing, right? I loved the first season of Full Swing. I couldn't stop watching it. They had a couple of episodes with a couple of characters like Matt Fitzpatrick. I'm like, bro, I'd rather watch somebody eat cereal than listen to any more Matt Fitzpatrick content. He's the most boring human on the planet. Nothing against him. Great golfer. I was like, it turned me off.
There's only so many stories out there. I mean,
right. And so I go, and season 2 starts. I watch 5 minutes. I was like, I can't do this again, man. I just can't do it. The Red Sox one's going to be phenomenal. Something I've been begging for for years. Behind the scenes of baseball, they never let you in.
They expanded Hard
baseball's
Knocks
by
to the
far the worst.
off season with the New York Giants, and I didn't watch it, but people said it was actually pretty
I heard it was one of the best ones they've had in years. I didn't.
Now, of
catch
course,
any
they're
of that.
doing the Bears with the training camp like they always do. I mean, and there's millions now.
But the documentaries that if you haven't watched the Steve McNair one, it's only an hour.
Yeah, it's the Untold series.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, remember when ESPN did 30 for 30? That was 30 documentaries. They're probably at 800 at this point with the number they've done.
Steve McNair was
wild story.
Dating a girl. The girl still shared an apartment with her boyfriend. Okay? Her boyfriend was the biggest Tennessee Titans fan and the biggest Steve McNair fan there was.
Her ex-boyfriend.
They broke up, but they still shared an apartment. They had a lease. So she's bringing Steve McNair over. He's like, he goes, I can't even watch football anymore. My wife brings home Manny, and I'm still living in the house. And I'm like, how's it going? How you doing?
Probably
Good
more
to see
likely
you.
Jake, but
well, you know what I'm saying. Manny's my favorite player. Yeah. So, and I'm sitting there like, how do I root for the Padres anymore? How do I root for? How do I root for baseball? He goes, I can't even watch football anymore.
He's like, I gave up my tickets.
I'm done. I'm done. It is so good. It's so good. Check that out.
All right, sticking in sports media, you guys all saw the reports. Jason and Travis Kelce and their podcast, New Heights. We've only been doing it a couple of years, and the heights that podcast reached were ridiculous. It was
Very
like the
new.
number one podcast. During the season especially, they're very good. I've seen clips. I've never actually listened to the podcast, but I know they do it. Like during the season, you do get, especially two brothers playing in the NFL, you get a lot of that behind the scenes stuff during the year. And my God, they have just signed on with Wondery, the network owned by
Wondery.
Amazon, for $100 million over 3 years.
So that essentially means that someone thinks that their podcast, because we're essentially doing a show like they are, is like 1 billion times better than our show.
Correct.
Would you say that that's true? Are the Kelce brothers 1 billion times better and more worthwhile than Ben and Woods?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've got a big
Probably.
name, they've got a good reach, but really, 1 billion times better.
Yeah, I mean,
probably.
You know.
like what? You talking about like radio mechanics? No, absolutely not.
I mean-
but as far as audience reach,
No one's 1 billion times better at anything than anyone else.
Who's listening to that though?
to their podcast,
Football fans? Is it
Well,
football
I
fans
think
with
now,
these?
I think in the last year, they like quadrupled their market.
Yeah, with Taylor.
With Travis dating Taylor Swift, but he's also one of the top players. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
$100 million.
Going for a 3-peat in the Super Bowl. I mean, there's
So if one of us started dating Taylor Swift, we would immediately elevate.
We'd have more than
in the
300
minds
people
of-
on Twitch watching us.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who's gonna take one for the team?
Not me. Very happy.
Is Travis Kelce still living there? And he's like, I used to be a huge Ben and Woods fan. Now I can't even.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's bringing home Ben Higgins.
Imagine that. Well, I mean, yeah, never mind. Just move on.
All right. Finally, we have talked about this in the past, airplane etiquette. And, there's always, not always, but typically you'll see somebody maybe go hit the food court on their way to boarding the plane, and they'll bring like Panda Express or Wendy's or Chipotle or something. Like that person should be on the no-fly list.
Yeah,
I
that person should be
firmly.
in the
Is it because it smells too bad or too
Yes.
good?
No, bad.
It doesn't
Bad.
smell as good as you think. It's
Not in a
it's
tube. It
fast.
doesn't smell good. If you're not eating it, it doesn't. It's like Doritos. I love Doritos, but if somebody else eats Doritos near me and I'm not eating Doritos, they get a shot to
What's
the
the best smell out there, though?
cinnamon
rolls.
Cinnamon roll. You
Like if
want to
some-
bring cinnamon
if
on the
someone
plane?
brought like a
and-
tray
But
of
I'd still
cinnamon
be
rolls,
mad
but you
because
didn't
now
get
I
to
want
eat
cinnamon.
them,
Right.
Wouldn't that be just as miserable?
No.
Like the whole plane smells like cinnamon.
That'd be amazing.
Freshly baked cinnamon rolls the entire
It
flight.
smells incredible.
Well, I've got a new one here, and I think this person should be not just on the no-fly. They should be arrested, life in prison. There is a woman who went viral for making bread dough while on a plane. She was sitting in her seat. I'm talking mixing bowl, ingredients, the whole thing. And she was making sourdough bread on her flight to Spain. Now, at first I was like, I guess that doesn't sound too harmless. Then I saw the video, which I'm putting it up on our stream right now. And I mean, we're talking like the mixing bowl, all of the equipment. She's just sitting there.
How'd she get it through? Like, how'd she get it all through security?
I mean, there's nothing. It's not bad. It's not illegal, I guess, to carry a mixing bowl onto the plane with you, right? Anything you can fit in your carry-on bag.
Right.
Flour, a big thing of flour.
Yeast. Starter, if it's sourdough.
Kneading the dough. If I
Gives you
was
something
sitting
to
in the seat
do,
next
kill
to her,
some time on the flight.
I'd lose my mind if I was sitting
I
next
don't
to
know.
this
I mean,
person.
freshly baked bread is another one of those great smells.
I'm going to say this. Sourdough's overrated. I'll say it.
Ooh.
I wear it. It's overrated. It's overrated. Doesn't taste that good.
Okay, so
It
like
doesn't.
sourdough, like sandwich bread, I'll agree with
Pass.
you. If you've got like a hot sourdough roll with fresh
Tastes like
butter,
feet. Tastes like feet.
you
a little
like
bit.
the taste of feet.
No, I like.
That's why you like Cholula. You said it tastes like feet. You've said this before.
I also like feet.
You also like feet.
Maybe you're right. I just don't. I think it's overrated. Damn it, Diesel just got me.
Yep.
There's one exception to every rule. It's the sourdough Jack from Jack in the Box. It's delicious. That's slathered in butter, grilled.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hot sourdough with fresh butter. You get those rolls. You go to a restaurant that brings you that basket of hot sourdough rolls and the little pats of butter.
I just think there's so many better options, I think.
Than that?
Yeah, Parker House, I think, is a better roll.
Parker House is great.
Biscuits are a better
Biscuits?
bread.
No.
Yeah.
King's
no.
Hawaiian.
King's Hawaiian, delicious.
No.
Yeah.
Goated.
No.
Yeah, biscuits are better.
King's Hawaiian rolls are great, but they're cold. You're not going to
heat them up.
Heated up
100%.
King's Hawaiian rolls.
Yes.
Correct. I can't believe she made this on the plane. I'm watching. Yeah, there it is on the thing. She said salt. She's kneading it in her seat, just playing with it. It's pretty harmless, though.
Mazone, what about soup in a sourdough bowl? A bread bowl?
Overrated.
Really?
Yeah, overrated.
Clam chowder and a sourdough bread bowl.
Pretty over. I'll eat it. Don't get me wrong. But if I had my choice, I'd probably just take another type of bread. I think. Wouldn't you? But so what's her? Where did she bake it? Or did she?
Yeah. How did it get baked in one of the little
I'm
tiny
sure she took care of that
ovens?
after. She was just making the dough.
Well, they have those little ovens on the plane in the galley.
Hey, do you mind heating this up for a minute?
I don't think they're allowed to use. You can use.
You
that
can't
for
ask
just
the
a
flight.
passenger.
You just push the button and you say, can you bake my bread?
Yeah, have you never heated up King's Hawaiian rolls?
I don't think so.
Oh, my God. They're so good. So good.
Now, somebody in the comments of that video that went viral said, hey, what about anybody on the plane that's like allergic to wheat or any of the ingredients?
Well, she's not like throwing it on them.
Can be exposed to it. I don't know.
To wheat?
You can't avoid.
I'm not allergic to anything. I don't know.
I'm not either.
But you don't need somebody. You don't need somebody next to you throwing it around on an airplane.
I think you actually have to
Throwing
eat
it
the wheat. Eat the wheat.
Here, do a bump of this wheat that I brought on. This is weird. That's just a weird.
I can't go to
looks
the
really
super-
cute.
I'm
Please
allergic to
don't do
wheat.
this on a
I can't go to
plane.
the supermarket.
It's a closed place, and somebody could suffer from intoxication. The flour can easily fly and spread. Just don't make bread on an airplane. Right?
Yeah, I thought that was it. I thought that was it.
Didn't know that needed to be said.
Like, why do we have to say that?
There's probably a boudin in the airport right there
Yeah,
anyway.
Bodine?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Boudin, Bodine, whatever. I thought it went unsaid that you didn't have to. I often like to clean my fish on planes that I catch on my trips, and I bring my knife out of.
Well, you can't get the knife past.
That's
security.
true. That's true.
Just a personal griddle.
Yeah, right. It's like, what are we doing, man? It's just clout. Everything is just for clout. That's it.
Make some fajitas.
You guys cool with this? Fajitas. It's so stupid, man. It's just so stupid. I don't get it. Why are we doing this? Everybody forgets that there are other people around you. Have some self-awareness. I'm begging you. Yeah, peanuts. That's the only thing I think you have to worry about flying around to expose somebody to.
Weren't people allergic to peanuts when, every airline handed everybody
Peanuts
peanuts
everywhere.
on the plane?
Peanuts flying around.
For like most of my life.
Probably why they stopped doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people did they kill in the 50 years that they were doing it?
Wesley says, let me marinate my meat while I'm landing. We're going to a big barbecue. I'd like to marinate this carne asada as I fly. Everyone cool with that? It's just so stupid. Hibachi, yeah. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. It's really getting to me these days.
All right, stay tuned. We got our look ahead. Padres Cardinals
ruining my day.
Continuing their series. More coming up after a check of Kelly's traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hammer of the gods. What did Adam want in here?
Just checking on our computer issues and stuff. The Houston Astros are picking up Dodgers cast-off Jason Heyward.
Yes.
For the stretch run. We talked about that last week, whether we'd be interested or not. We said pass.
No, we're good.
And apparently they did pass, but he is reportedly, hasn't been officially announced yet, going to sign with the Astros, who look like, to me, Woods, one of the more dangerous teams heading now into the stretch run. They've expanded their lead over the Seattle Mariners, who continue to struggle. They lost again yesterday, I believe, didn't they? To the Rays, I think.
Who did?
The Mariners.
Yes.
And the Astros look like they're going to probably cruise into the playoffs, can get nice and set up They actually have a pitching problem. They have too many good pitchers right now. Like in the playoffs, they're going to have to narrow it down because they have like 6 guys who are throwing well for them at the moment.
They've lost 2. The Astros have lost 2 in a row, according to this.
They did lose to the Phillies yesterday. Aaron Nola shut them out for 7 innings.
But they were a team that was gone. They were done.
Yeah.
Like they were dead, buried. Bregman wasn't hitting. Nobody was hitting. And look at them now, 70 and 62, 8 games over 500. It's one of those things where, like, we kind of made it a point in the offseason to not come on these airwaves and say, just relax, Padres fans. It's early. Think about how many unknowns we had on our team. There's no way you could have looked at this and said, hey, relax, guys, it's early. They needed to play with a sense of urgency. They really didn't. They didn't. They just stayed consistently wanting to get better throughout the season. The Astros, Benny, they've been there so many times. I bet you the faith in that clubhouse never wavered one time, that they had the right guys in place to get the job done. And look at them now. There's a lot of teams like that around baseball right now, but they really stand alone. And nobody who wants to face the Astros in the playoffs.
It's interesting because a baseball schedule, like a football schedule, is much when you play a team as who you play. The beginning of the season, the Astros and the White Sox had the 2 worst records in the American League. Padres play both of them on their final homestand coming up in September in about 3 weeks. Now, Houston looks like a really dangerous team. You would have loved to have played them in April or May.
100%.
The White Sox still are horrifically bad, but those 2 teams have gone in completely different directions. But there was a point in the season where you could have thrown a blanket over their 2 records. In fact, I think the White Sox might have been ahead of them at one point in the season. And now, of course, they're probably 60 games behind the Astros. Padres still have both of those teams left on their schedule.
But there's another team, the Atlanta Braves, man. Again, 2 weeks ago, they're done. They're 8-2 in their last 10. I mean, it's insane. Oh, we play the Tigers soon? Guess who's won 8 out of 10 games? 5 in a row. It's playing them at the right time is so key. But you don't know when that's going to be.
But you might be catching the Cardinals at a kind of a good time right now. They seem to be weakening and perhaps seeing their season slipping away over these 4 games. And we'll see if the Padres can keep it going.
Did anybody on this planet not think Tommy Pham was going to deliver last night? I had to I put my
Didn't
head
deliver
down.
either of the 2 games. He got in late both of the games.
Yep, I put my head in my hands because I just knew Tommy Pham was going to get a knock there. Didn't. Cade instead. And it was lovely to see. But that in and of itself spoke volumes to me about how different this season has been. Because last year, Tommy Pham, 2-run bomb. For sure. But, yeah, man, I just somebody asked if we talked about bringing Diaz to the main roster. He played last night. I think he hit a double.
Oh, he did?
In his debut.
AAA?
AAA, I think. And so, yeah, he smoked a double apparently. I don't know. Campy had a couple more moments last night. He also had some really good moments last night. Drove in the tying run. Had a couple of key blocks in the game, late in the game. So I don't know what their plan is with Diaz, but, again, he's not going to sign here if he doesn't think he can get playing time and be on a postseason roster.
He didn't sign here just for one last week
in El Paso. Yeah, that's exactly right. He expects to be on this team soon.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. All right, we will look at today's interesting matchup in Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Padres and St. Louis Cardinals in our final segment that is coming up next with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.
This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be tripping you were gone.
Congratulations to Ken. Heard the sounder, called in, won the tickets to see Kansas at Humphreys by the Bay coming up on September 22nd. You can get your own tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Keep listening. I think tomorrow and Friday we've got a couple more pairs to give away with our call-in to win sounder this week for the Kansas tickets at Humphreys. And then don't forget, we're off on Monday.
Yeah, buddy.
It's a national legal holiday. Labor Day.
We have to be. This isn't. I'm not going on vacation or anything. Ben's not going on vacation.
It's not Paulie's favorite holiday. That, of course, is Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Love Memorial.
Loves a good Memorial.
That's his favorite holiday of the year. Bless you.
Ooh, sorry about that. Thank you.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I do not know.
Peanut allergy?
Peanut
What's
allergy.
going on
Paulie's
over
throwing
here?
wheat around in here.
Baking bread while I
Careful.
do this radio show.
Sorry about that.
All right, let's look ahead to the matchup tonight, Game 3, the Padres Cardinals series. We'll do that after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Hold It Contemporary Home. Just a couple things wrapping up our morning drive, traveling on the South 5 coastline on or near the Las Flores off-ramp. There's a collision involving a couple vehicles. They're over to the right shoulder. And talk about a tough place to get into an accident. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island just past the 5. It's got that right lane blocked. Looks like tow truck might be needed there. Join Hold It Contemporary Home for their giant tent sale in Mission Valley this Labor Day weekend. Save big on Italian designs, including living, dining, bedroom, and outdoor furniture. Visit holdithome.com for more details and see you in their parking lot this Saturday through Monday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So we're all hoping, I'm sure Joe is as well, that he is just as locked in as he was on Friday night against the New York Mets when he gets back out onto the mound later today in St. Louis. Another 4:45 start, 3:45 Eco Water SoCal pregame show as Joe Musgrove takes the mound. He was so good in that start. He was pretty good in his first 2 starts off the injured list, but man, what vintage ideal Joe in his last start. Bottle it, hold on to it for the next 2 months, and we'll enjoy that World Series parade at the end of the year. Because he looked pretty much unbeatable in his last start. Now, will that hold? Will it not hold? I've got no idea. Hopefully, though, whatever Joe feels got locked in, on the mound, he'll be able to recreate that tonight and going forward as much as possible the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be another toasty one, not quite as bad. The humidity may be worse, though, because it's supposed to dump rain there in St. Louis a little bit today. You saw Dylan Cease last night having a little bit of struggle, getting a grip on the ball. The same can be said for Joe Musgrove. He needs to spin it to be successful. When he was spinning it Friday. I mean, just disappearing.
The command was so good.
It just, for Higgy and him to be on the same page like that was just incredible to watch. It's such a aesthetically beautiful game that he pitched on Friday night. I mean, my God, it was just perfect. The offense showed up, the whole thing. So this team is playing with a lot of confidence, man, a lot. So listen, don't panic if he gets down early. Don't panic if he can't locate early. He's going to make adjustments.
Now you've got me worried. I wasn't going to panic. Why did you even bring it up?
I'm just saying. If these guys have shown us anything, man, it's their ability to fight, and that you'd like to see them, the starters, get off to a bit of a better start every game. I mean, it does. You can't play from behind every time, but I do feel like this team, especially, they grind, man, and 2 runs is nothing. 2 runs is nothing for those guys. They've found an ability to limit damage too, Ben, avoid a lot of big innings, knock on wood, keep all that rolling tonight with Joe. And the bullpen's probably they're wrapping up that stretch of 18-18 here. They still have 7 games to go. So I mean, they're 7, 6? 6 games to go. Looking at the bullpen usage right now, Tanner Scott's toast. Tanner Scott, if I'm Mike Schild, I'm like, don't ask, don't throw. Wear your flip-flops.
Stay in the air conditioning at the hotel
today. Stay in your
today.
hotel room, bro. I don't even need you on the field. Like, we had that. We told that funny story last year about the Gabe Kapler blog when he was talking about, are we really doing things the right way in baseball? There's so much tradition. There's so much. He basically called it eyewash, right? A guy like Tanner Scott, who has thrown 44 pitches in 3 days, high leverage, he's done. He's not. Why does he have to come to the ballpark tonight?
Jake Cronenworth's probably more likely to pitch than Tanner Scott tonight.
I would say yes. I'd say that's a fair bet.
And we know how unlikely it is that Jake Cronenworth is going to pitch.
So it is funny when I think about that, wouldn't that be smarter to say, bro, kick it. Kick it in the hotel room. You don't have to do anything tonight. You're not pitching. Don't worry about it. Come get your treatment. You're running or whatever you need to do, but you don't need to be here because we're not going to use you. Jason Adam, 35 pitches in the last 3, Hoeing 33, Morejon 28, Suarez 27. He got a day off last night. I'm sure he'll be back and ready to go. Estrada, he's fresh and healthy and looking good. Yuki Matsui threw 18 last night, and Sean Reynolds is kind of lightly used. Last time he pitched was on Friday. So it's a bit dicey, but if you can get some sort of length, 6-7 innings from Joe Musgrove again,
I think Hoeing's probably available.
Yeah. He's kind of the longer.
He only threw 2/3 of an inning last night. Usually they go longer, so I'd imagine they saved him knowing they might need him, who knows, again today. I would think Joe, though, threw 75 pitches last time out, probably could have gone even a little bit more. Certainly expect him in the 80s to 90s if things go well today in Game 3 of the series. The Cardinals will be going with another right-hander, Andre Palante, who Katie Wu said, pitching well, is coming off 3 really pretty good starts against the Royals, the Dodgers, and the Twins. Just 5 runs allowed in his last 3 starts total. Beat the Dodgers, beat the Twins the last 2 times out. He's had some control issues this past month, more walks this month than he's had in other months. Was in the bullpen early in the season. Padres did see him for an inning in a 3-2 loss at Petco Park on April the 3rd. But then he went into the starting rotation at the end of May and has been a fixture for the Cardinals since then. So would you make any lineup changes? If you're obviously Higashioka is going back into catch for Joe.
Well, I'm 100% putting Cronenworth back at first base.
Cronenworth back at first. He had his DH day yesterday.
Rise can DH. Yeah, I'm doing that.
Are you still Mason McCoy, even the right-hander? Does Tyler Wade get a start at some point?
I'm rolling Mason McCoy because his defense is miles better, and he's finding a way to get on base. He's absolutely earned. If he's healthy and ready and fresh and wants to play, and I'm sure he does. This is a 29-year-old rookie, Ben. I would keep rolling him out there.
Feels like it's been a while since Jurickson's got a day off. Is there anybody who gets off their feet in the heat and humidity?
I wouldn't mind that. I would hate it, but I understand. Like, it's hard because
tomorrow may be better. The day game.
The day game may see more of a B squad Bombers lineup tomorrow, especially if you're going for this 4-game sweep.
And they're in this
pennant race.
They're in a pennant race, but it's also like, does it do anything for you, Ben, Paul, the fans out there? You really can't play these games like Game 7s. You just can't. You have to consider what's coming up down the road, and you have to give guys days off. As much as it sucks, you have to do it. Guys are going to need breaks, especially playing 2 games in a row in that place, in that dump, with that weather. Forget it, man. Like, they have to be smart about it. I'm sure they will be. But, yeah, I would assume that you're going to get some guys off your feet the next couple of days. You've already earned the series split on the road. So, yeah, man.
I mean, you got to get at least one of these, too.
Yeah, it would
you
be
take
great.
3 out of 4, you're happy with it, but you don't want to drop both of them.
Of course.
And you've got Musgrove and King on the mound the next couple of days. You've got a chance to win all 4.
You really do.
The way you're playing.
Yep, you really do.
And finish the job, and then on to Tampa Bay, and then back home, and then finally a day off on Tuesday.
And it's different. I mean, they're not fighting for their lives right now. They have a 97.1. So close. According to Fangraphs, 97.1.
A win today, they may blow right past 97.3.
Yeah, so they're 97.1% chance to make the playoffs. Do you keep that in you're not fighting for your playoff life here. You're not the Mets. You're not the Red Sox. Like, if you're a Met star, you're not getting a day off, nor should you. This is why they pay you. You're fighting for your life. You're trying to make the playoffs, trying to get hot at the right time. But I think if you're Mike Schilt and A.J. Preller and the holistic approach of figuring it out, they do have a lot of faith in all 26 guys on the roster. I really think you have to play. You can't play like you're going for the division. I think it's the faith I think it's the faith they have in all of their bench players and everything else to get the job done. Man, get Solano in there, figure out a way to get him some ABs. Blue Meanie says champions don't take a day off. That's not true. That's just not true. This isn't football. It's just not. You can't think that way. You don't want to burn these guys out the last 28 games going for a division. You just don't. You don't. That's why Scott's not going to throw today. That's why Suarez didn't throw last night. If you're fighting for your playoff life last night, Robert Suarez is your closer. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
It's hard to do. It's hard to rationalize, but I think you have to be smart.
But the really good teams find ways to win even when they are careful with their players.
100%. And the Padres have done that. The Padres have done that a ton this year. How many times has the bottom of the lineup guys come through? Last night was another example. You know, I mean, I'm just telling you, like, you have to be smart about it going down the stretch. 97.1% chance of making the playoffs. Play for that. You know, if the division falls to you and you can get it, get it. Chrome HP says no days off. It's not true. It's just not. I don't think you can manage that way. I don't. That's just
especially in an 18-game and 18-day stretch.
That's my personal opinion. You may disagree. That's absolutely fine.
After this stretch, Paulie, look at the calendar to your left. And once they get to Tuesday, how many off days are left in September? There's quite a few, right? 3, 4, 5, 4 more off days, and so that's at least an off day a week.
And then you'll have one off day, most likely
before the playoffs, or maybe 4 or 5, depending on where you finish in the standings. So.
Tyler says he's torn. He says he's torn, and I feel the same way. I mean, you know.
But you'll be able to be more aggressive if you're in a pennant race in September with those off days than you can right now with 18 games in 18 days.
Correct.
And 100-degree humidity.
It's just
all right. Hang on.
You got to be a little bit careful.
What the hell's going on? I just checked FanGraphs. Our odds are now down to 96.8. What happened in the last hour?
Well, in that case, yeah, Jersey
you
doesn't get a day off. You got to get out there.
Well, the Cubs scored in the top of the first inning in Pittsburgh. I don't know how that affected the Padres'
0.3%
playoff odds, but they took a 1-0 lead. But the reason that's interesting, little Rookie of the Year update, that run came off Paul Skeens.
Oh, Cubbies.
Who gave up a sharp double from Ian Happ.
Washed.
A hard ground out from Michael Busch and an RBI single from Cody Bellinger in the first inning. So he won't be throwing a shutout or a no-hitter today.
What's the score? 2-0?
1-0 Cubs in the first inning in Pittsburgh. And Skeens, they haven't shut him down, but they have given him a little extra rest. Now, I see his top pitch velocities here on the StatCast Savant, still 99.7, 99.6. So he's still throwing hard, had 4 swings and misses, but has given up a run already today.
They're so washed right now.
And he's got to do something really spectacular at this point.
1-1 now.
Well, it doesn't. I mean,
I know it
doesn't matter what the offense does. It only matters what Paul Skeens does at this point. And I think Jackson Merrill has firmly taken control. Now it's up to Skeens. He's got to do something to change the narrative again. If the narrative doesn't change between now and the end of the season, Jackson Merrill's your Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Fair enough.
Now, if Skeens goes out and throws, a no-hitter and 3 shutouts, he might be able to change the narrative again.
Yeah.
But right now, it belongs to Jackson Merrill.
Look, I hate being the voice of reason on this show. It's not my strong suit, but I do think they need to play smart. They will. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing way more than I do. Way, way, way more than you do, Ben. I know it's hard for you to wrap your head around. Paulie, all of us.
I've always known that they've known more than I know.
Have you?
I think, yes, I do.
Didn't you say that you were as handsome as Tony Gwynn Jr.? I think your thinking is skewed sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
That's subjective.
Said you could beat professional
golfer
golfer
Steve Sugimoto. Yes.
I'm just saying on the best day of my life.
Never.
And his worst day.
Yeah, if he breaks his leg on the first swing, you might have a chance.
All right, that's it for us today. Annie and Elston are coming up next. We have a bonus, extra 15 minutes tomorrow as we lead into Padres baseball. Good for us.
No roundtable, and we still get screwed.
For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, for Trevor over there, thanks for stopping in studio. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Wednesday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. So long.